You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
It's good to be back.
Emble played there a little bit. Devers refused. There's a ground ball to short. Duran got himself in trouble here. Now he's in a rundown. Moore chases down Duran. Now a play at second base. And it's a double play.
Wow. We saw some bad base running recently for the Red Sox, and that typifies it right now.
Alex Cora came immediately out of the dugout.
They got thrown out again. More Little League 101 mistakes for the Red Sox, and the Celtics pull off. I'm not going to say a steal, but what a great job by Brad Stevens, trading Drew Holiday, who will be sorely missed, no question about it. But they get back an outstanding player from the Portland Trail Blazers, and Anthony Simons. Wow, we're going to get into it this morning. I'm back, everybody. Hello. How's everybody doing on this terrific Tuesday? I am back from Pittsburgh. Doing a little business. Met some old friends as well. How's everybody doing this morning here? Welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network. Thanks for checking us out across the extensive video platform that we have here. Following me on X, on Twitter, at PShep326, on Facebook pages, on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, LinkedIn, CSN Florida, SR1029 The Game. That is the app right there that you should download and have it with you at all times. And also call or text the show 727-858-6650. Good show lined up for you today at 8:05. Jay Flannelly from Ann Arbor. We got some NFL news to tell you about. And also we will talk about his Mets, who are 1-9. But they're still very much obviously in the playoff hunt. Whereas my Red Sox, I don't get it. They made bumbling, fumbling, stupid mistakes against the Giants on Sunday. It continued last night against Anaheim. They just every time you think there's a scintilla of hope, they take three giant steps backward. We'll get into all of that and a lot more. As I said, Celtics trading late last night, in case you went to bed. It happened around right before midnight. Celtics trading Drew Holiday to the Portland Trail Blazers for 26-year-old Anthony Simons and 2 second-round picks. A great job by Brad Stevens. You get Portland, one of their best players, who averages almost 20 points a game, 3 rebounds, and 4 or 5 assists or something like whatever it is. I'll give you the whole stats. And they also saved $40 million. They're probably not done yet. Porzingis probably going to be next. But this is a deal. They will sign this guy to an extension. There's no question about it. He's only 26 years old. Yes, we will miss Drew Holiday, both offensively and defensively. No question about it. But this is the two of the people that I thought would not be on the Celtics, is Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. I did not think they were going to get the caliber of player back at Anthony Simons. And, of course, the nitwits on morning radio on ESPN, they just went in a completely different direction because they don't know this guy. They don't know this guy. All they see is Celtics and Drew Holiday, and it's a salary dump. That somewhat is true, but they're going to sign this guy who's probably going to make more money. I think Drew had $72 million left on his deal. They get a guy that's 10 years younger and shoots the threes very well. Very, very athletic, highlight reel type guy, in case you don't know. And he's from Florida, up in the Orlando area. Never played in college, went right from high school to the pros, played his last year, I believe, at IMG Academy, which, as everybody knows, one of the most awesome institutions for youths in sports and basketball and football, and baseball for that matter as well. So we get that. If somehow, some way, how about Inter Miami FC? Now, I don't do a lot of soccer on this show for a lot of reasons because I don't follow it at all. Certainly don't follow the MLS. I know who Lionel Messi is, obviously. I know how well he's doing. I also know how well that Inter Miami has done. And they should have won the game last night against Palmeiras, which is an excellent team from Brazil. But they ended up with a 2-2 draw. They're the lone MLS team to advance to the knockout phase of the Club World Cup. Whatever that is, I know it's a big deal. I know it's going to be a big deal on here. And they will play one of the premier teams in the world in Paris Saint-Germain coming up on June 29th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. I know we have a lot of soccer fans out there. Please inform me. I know, by the way, this team that they're playing is in their own league is 26. Well, I wrote the record down. It is 26, 6, and 2. It's pretty good. So that game is coming up. They're the only MLS team to advance to this, and Lionel Messi, obviously a big part of it. They were up 2-0 last night before finishing. They kind of choked up at the end, I guess, and gave up a couple of goals in the last few minutes. But nevertheless, they have played 3 games in 9 days, which I think is a lot for soccer. And they have done very well. So Lionel Messi and Inter Miami FC headed to the knockout round, the group of the Sweet 16 of the Club World Cup. So I know a lot of people out there are excited about that. I am very excited about the Celtics deal. I did not think they were going to get that kind of a player back, but they did. Brad Stevens, once again, every time he's done this, and they'll sign him to an extension, but Anthony Simons is a really good basketball player who averages almost 20 points a game, shoots the 3 well, pretty good defender. I mean, you talk about Drew Holiday is an elite defender, so let's get that straight. And he's going to help the Portland Trailblazers and some of their younger people as well. But this is a great start for the Celtics. This guy is going to go right into the starting lineup with Tatum out. So that's a good deal. And with all of that, we say good morning. Feels like I haven't talked to him forever since last Wednesday. Angel Martinez is in the house. Good morning, Angel. How are you?
Buenos dias, Pete. And yes, soccer is the big talk as we're coming to the slow part of the year before, obviously, minicamp or actually summer camp starts for the NFL season. But
about 9 weeks away from college football.
Yeah, which is even better, which I think this year is going to be bigger and better than ever when it comes to college football. But yeah, soccer being big, obviously, for your Boston Celtics, yes, Drew Holiday's definitely going to be missed. I missed him when, obviously, the Sixers decided to shop him around, so he's been well missed in Philly. But nonetheless, it was good games as we've been gone. Obviously, the Stanley Cup Final, we knew who the champ was there. We also know the champ from the NBA Finals, and not bad overall. It's bad for, unfortunately, Halliburton, who ended up getting hurt. And
yeah, that was. I was on the plane when that happened. I couldn't believe. I mean, it was just. I knew exactly what it was. It was very similar to Tatum, and it was just making a move, make a fake, takes a step. Nobody touched, nobody hit him. Same thing like Tatum. How about this for irony? You had Tatum, you had Tyrese Halliburton, and Lillard.
Yep,
all got hurt. Guess what the common denominator is?
The Achilles.
Yes, they all got hurt with the Achilles. There's one more. Yes. They all wear the number 0. Freaky.
That is freaky.
It is. It is. Joe says, good morning, boys. Can't wait for football now that there's only baseball to watch now. Well, if you watch the Red Sox, I mean, I guess you call that baseball. I don't know. I go to Little League games and see more fundamentally sound teams than the Red Sox. It's just unbelievable. Sunday, they fumble and bumble their way to that loss in San Francisco. And then last night, which I'll show you in a second, it's just ridiculous, what's going on with them. And I have no faith. I don't. They're going to tease me all year long, probably. I don't know. I just don't think they're going anywhere. I don't. They're hanging around right now. They're probably a game and a half out of the wild card right now. They were when I left. They were half a game up. And they hung around for a couple of days, and they played like shit on Sunday, as usual. And, fundamental mistakes, errors, dropping balls, left fielder and a third baseman, shortstop colliding. It's just so stupid on plays that obviously the outfielder has the right of way. That happened on Sunday. And then last night, Jared Duran, who is an excellent baseball player, but he does some fundamentally stupid things. I mean, he can turn a single into a double like that, but then there's a ground ball to shortstop, and he runs from second to third base, a hard grounder to shortstop by Toro, and they run into a double play. Absolutely stupid, idiotic baseball by the Red Sox. Baseball 101, Little League 101, stuff that can get you benched at higher levels in high school and college, doing that crap, running from second to third on a hard grounder to shortstop. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then to top it off, they're running themselves into double play. We'll show you the whole Benny Hill shenanigans coming up in just a second here. But Anywho, glad to have you. Glad to have all of you here with us. Jay Flanley at 8:05 today. Mick Colagio will wrap up the NHL at 8:30. Find out what else is going to be happening around the league. It certainly seems like the Florida Panthers are going to stay intact. Yep. Sam Bennett announcing at the parade. I don't know if there's any booze talk. If he's like, I'm not going anywhere. He seems to be willing to take a hometown discount to stay with the Panthers. And like I said, I mean, I don't know who they're going to lose. I have an idea who they might lose. I thought Bennett might be one of them, but it certainly seems like his mind is set on staying with the Florida Panthers. But we'll get mixed perspective on all of that and a lot more. But basically, Celtics get Drew Holiday. Celtics trade Drew Holiday to Portland for 26-year-old Anthony Simons and 2 second-round picks. It's a great deal for the Celtics. It really is. Not only does it look good on the books for $40 million saved. And that money will go. They're gonna re-sign this guy, so he's gonna end up getting more than Holiday. But for now, on the books, it looks good. Look for another deal coming up soon here with Porzingis probably. But this guy Simons is going right into the starting line. If you're a Celtics fan, you should be thrilled with this deal. Yes, we will all miss Drew Holiday. There's no question about that. Very good two-way player. A little injury prone at the end, but nevertheless, he had that one game against Orlando this year in the playoffs. That was excellent. I mean, he's an excellent two-way player. Shoots the three well. Obviously, he's all-world defender. But at this time, you knew he was going to get traded. You know, Porzingis is next. And for them to get Simons in this deal, I think it's spectacular. I really do. I'm not saying he's a second coming or anything like that, but this is a guy who goes right into the starting lineup, 20 points a game. Actually, let me give you his full stats from just this past year. Then we'll have lots of NFL news to tell you about. Not lots, but a little bit, and also the MLB rundown. We'll get to everybody. Angels, Phillies are playing very well. Jays, Mets are not playing very well. Oh, and by the way, speaking of Jays, Mets, they signed. This is like right out of James Bond, Angel. The Mets signed yesterday a pitcher. A left-handed pitcher to add to their bullpen, another bullpen option. His name is Dickie Lovelady.
Okay.
Dickie, D-I-C-K-Y, Lovelady, L-O-V-E-L-A-D-Y. That sounds like a name out of James Bond movies.
It does.
Dickie Lovelady.
All righty. Well, good Lord.
And then to top it all off, a couple of things that happened while I was gone. One is, and on Wink News down here in Fort Myers, I posted the video. There was an alley, again, I think it was a pond up closer to you. It might have been in the Orlando area. I can't remember, Angel, up in the Tampa. But there was an alligator swimming across the pond. It's on my Facebook page if you want to see it. Maybe we could pull that video up. With a golf club. It looks like it's a submarine with a periscope. He's got a golf club. And the shaft is up pretty high, and he's just swimming across the pond with the golf club in his mouth. I was like, only in Florida would you see that. And then I saw something which was awesome, and we need to adopt this, at least down here in Florida, for every single beach or body of water that you can put a boat in. You know why? Because I saw this video. I don't have this video, Angel, but I want to, if we can, at some point today, I want to show it. Chick-fil-A in Destin, Florida, not too far from either one of us, delivers by an inflatable boat food to people. Yeah, have an inflatable boat delivery. So like those pop up, rubber rafts with a motor on the back. Chick-fil-A will deliver food to you out wherever the hell you are in the ocean. I'm sure it's reasonable. A distance, if you're, you can't be 10 miles out, but nevertheless, what a cool thing. So it's like an Uber Eats by boat.
That's not bad, especially here in Florida. That's not bad at all. Even in the Tampa region, I mean, that would be huge down here just because so many people are on the water. But wow. Okay, well, Chick-fil-A continues to.
I know there are bars around this country and around the world that have bars/restaurants out sometimes in the middle of nothing. And there's also parts of this country where they will have people come around, and shuck clams for you and serve you and stuff like that. They'll do that. There's certain parts of New England that do that. I know on the West Coast, and I know here in Florida, I think on the Keys, there's people that do that. But, you're out in the boat, they'll come and shuck raw oysters for you or clams or whatever. And, even give you a cocktail maybe as well. But I love that. Chick-fil-A delivers on an inflatable boat out to people in Destin, Florida. Fantastic stuff. All right. Let's get to the Red Sox debacle, which was last night for those of you who didn't stay up. Then I'll do a whole MLB rundown as well. You want to get your thoughts and reactions, especially you Celtics people out there. This is the lead story. The lead story on ESPN's morning show earlier today, except they didn't focus enough on Simons and what a great deal the Celtics got. All they did was talk about a salary dump and the stuff that you knew it was coming. And because they hate on the Celtics all the time, they went through found the negative part of this, which there really isn't a negative part. I mean, yeah, Drew Holiday's a great two-way player, but everybody knew this deal was going to happen. I don't think they realized, because they don't watch enough of the NBA, how good a player that Simons is that they got in return. So they went the other thing. Well, it's all about them for the Knicks trying to be better and this, that. And then they go with the hypothetical, what if Kevin Durant were on the Knicks? Well, he's not on the Knicks now. He's on Houston. He's not on the Knicks. He's not going to be on the Knicks. And the Knicks are going to take a giant step backwards next year. Get it through your thick skulls. The Lakers and the Knicks are going to take 2 giant steps back next year. And those of you out there, I think the Celtics aren't going to be back in one of the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference, just because Tatum is going to be out for most of the season. It certainly looks that way, at least until March, maybe early April. But they are going to be, again, the rest of the squad staying reasonably healthy. And with the draft coming up and free agency and all that stuff, the Celtics aren't going anywhere, folks. They just got a great player back in return, one of Portland's best players. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon. The Knicks and the Lakers, see ya. 2 giant steps backwards. Guaranteed. Can't wait for Chuck to say that on ESPN coming up this year. Let's see. All right, Angel, if we could, show you the play, these bumbling stooges, a.k.a. the Red Sox. Let's go down to Savage. It says the Red Sox are a Little League team. Here's how the whole thing went down and the ejection. I mean, this is last night. Red Sox were down early in this one, came back, took a lead, and it's 5-4 now. The Angels are 5-4. This is the top of the 5th inning. Red Sox are rallying. Duran led off with a double, and in the 5th inning. Then Abraham Toro grounded to shortstop, and if we had Benny Hill music, I would cue it. You could cue Bad News Bears music, Lonesome Loser, whatever you want. Anything that downgrades humanity, you could apply to this right now for this play. Baseball humanity from last night. Go ahead.
Oh boy.
So, try not to vomit if you're a Red Sox fan.
Campbell played there a little bit. Devers refused. There's a ground ball to short. Duran got himself in trouble here. Now he's in a rundown. Moore chases down Duran. Now play at second base, and it's a double play.
Wow. We saw some bad base running recently for the Red Sox,
No
and that
shit.
typifies it right now.
Alex Cora came immediately out of the dugout.
For what?
Thought he was blocking the bag. It's so insignificant.
I want to see if they got him at second or not.
We'll talk about it.
What a play by Christian Moore with the tag and the quick turnaround to make that jump throw to second base.
I don't even know what they're even talking about here, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess he could say he's blocking the bag, but he's running over towards the base at that point.
Even if he wasn't blocking the bag, he's going to be out by a mile.
Sure was.
So Alex Cora asking the umpires to conference for the second time today.
I mean, the throw is going to bring him down to block the base. That's the only thing they're asking about more than likely is he blocking the bag, the path to the bag.
Well, that's reviewable, isn't it? Can't they just review that?
Red Sox are the dumbest team in baseball. They make the dumbest mistakes consistently. That's why they've led the league.
Alan Porter is the crew chief, and he wants to
And then plays like that don't make it to a box score. All right, let's scroll right underneath that. Actually, we'll scroll up from that, Angel, under Tyler Milliken, and this is where Alex gets ejected. So make that 2 straight games where Alex Cora has been ejected. Here we go.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know where he'd be going with this.
Yeah, he looks like he's not getting any satisfaction. He's been thrown out of the game. Second game in a row for the Red Sox manager. He has been tossed out. Alan Porter going nose to nose with him. Red Sox run themselves into a double play. Cora saw something else. But he has been run just as he was yesterday in San Francisco.
I don't know where he'd be going with this.
Yeah. And I know, roll that one more second, Angel, and I'm going to pause it. Roll it for a second.
Yeah, he looks like he's not getting any satisfaction. He's been thrown out of the game.
The umpire. Well, keep it going.
Second game in a row for
Right
the
there.
Red Sox.
Now, I know that seems like nothing, and I hope it doesn't turn into anything, but you're not supposed to touch an umpire, ever. I know it was, I'm not going to say it's affection. I know there was nothing malicious about what he did, but you're not supposed to touch an umpire. I hope they don't overreact, but they might. Now, if we could scroll down, Angel, under Nesson, here's Alex Cora. On the play, he was ejected on, and why? Absolutely ridiculous.
Right there. All right.
What you see on that double play call that you were talking to Alan Porter about?
Yeah, I mean, our point of view was that he was blocking the back at second. I guess the rule is like if he's going to be out easy, they can do that. We had a similar situation last year with the same crew, and it was Buxton at second base. Vaughn blocked the bag. He was called safe. Rocco argue, and Allen reversed the call. So that was my whole point. I was trying to make that point. Like it happened 6 months ago, same situation, and it was reversed last year. Maybe he's right, like he was going to be safe, but I wanted to make sure, like I didn't agree with it.
What you see on that double play
Yeah,
call?
again, Jaron Duran leads off the fifth. They're down 5-4, leads off with a double, then stupidly tries to go to third on a routine ground, a hard hit ball to shortstop. Forget that it was, a slow roller is one thing. Then Duran would make the move. But first thing you were taught, T-ball / little league, ground ball hit to the left side, and you're on second base. You don't move, especially a hard grounder. You don't go halfway. You might take a step or two off the bag. That's about it. And you wait to see. You don't go on a hard hit grounder from second to third. Fucking Little League 101. I'm telling you. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then Durant tagged out by more in the rundown. He spun around. Great job to Neil Toro trying to go to second base and out by a freaking mile. Absolute mile. They did not get good starting pitching yesterday. Once again, Walker Buehler gave up 5 earned runs in 4 innings, 3 hits, walked 7. Ugh, just ridiculous. Walked 7 in that game. By the way, here's how the game started. By the way, in case you didn't stay up last night, the Angels got it going. Let's see. Well, the Red Sox jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the first inning. Actually, it was 3-0 lead after Rafael Azarbe single made it to 3-0. But then the Angels came roaring back in the bottom of the first inning. Let me see. What do we have? Well, it started. Which was it? The first pitch that Buehler threw? I think it was. Bottom of the first.
Snacktino hits one out in the gap in left center field. It well. Rafael is back, and that ball is gone. A home run. On the first pitch from Buehler, It's a homer for Neto.
Buehler.
He's homer now on 2 pitches in his last 2 at-bats.
That's some quick hands for Magneto. Some pretty good arms he's homered off on 2 pitches. Hader and Buehler. 104.4 going.
Buehler, Fry, fry. That was Cameron, remember?
Yep.
When Cameron went to Egypt land, let my Cameron go. He'll keep calling me. He'll make me come over there. He'll keep calling me. Anyway, Angels will take the lead and add on to the lead. Bottom of the 8th inning.
Now Darno with a line drive, base hit to left.
That's huge.
Neto and Trout come home. The play toward the plate too late. A big inning for the Angels, breaking the tie. They lead it 9-5.
I love that reaction by Travis Dar. Yes, on that 2 RBI single. He's had some traffic on the bases tonight. And that time coming through.
All right, so the Red Sox lose 9-5. They are now 40-40. Let me see the current update in the standings. They are 6 games behind the Yankees, and for the wild card, I believe they're a game and a half out now. So absolutely ridiculous. Garrett Crochet will try to righten the ship, and when he pitches, they usually don't score any runs for him, so he'll probably leave with a no decision. It'll be 2-2 in the 7th, and then they'll run themselves into a triple play this time and lose. They're going up against Tyler Anderson. That's tonight at around 9:40 for those of you who care to stay up and watch. And I'm the dummy that will probably do it, even though I did fall asleep around the 7th inning last night. But I missed I didn't miss any of the Bad News Bears highlights, so I wish I did. I really do. All right, let's go around the majors here for a second. St. Louis over the Cubs by a score of 8-2 in that one. Arizona, the perfect Bo Derek 10. The White Sox, a big goose egg last night.
Here's Cattell, and there goes a fly ball. It's another one off the bat of Marte. Goodbye. Cattell Marte, his hot streak continues. That's his 14th, and make it 6-0 Diamondbacks. And Pavin's bidding for one more. High fly ball. It's on its way. It is going, and it is gone. They go back to back. Who's got a craving for Pavin? His second home run tonight.
Jesus, come on.
These guys are jumping all over it once again. Change up.
A hot, steamy day on the south side of Chicago, and the Diamondbacks.
Wow.
I can't take it. I can't take it. This is calls for the old, please. I got to have a sriracha and toothpicks next to me so I can stick them in my eyes and pour sriracha all over my face. Because you got to wonder in this day and age. These broadcasters have these little puns written on index cards, that were a piece of a little notepad like this, right? And they have these. I guarantee you, they have these little puns sitting down there, like if this happens, if that. Nothing is spontaneous anymore. Al Michaels' call in 1980, "Do you believe in miracles?" Yes, was so spontaneous and so genuine. There's so many other great calls. I mean, Jack Buck, there's a drive. And the Dodgers have won the game 5-4. I don't believe what I just saw. Well, Jack Buck with the call, and Gibson hit the home run for the Dodgers off Eckersley back in '88. I mean, there's certain broadcasters that didn't have to do this pun shit that goes on. I can't stand it. I cannot stand it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. As much, who's the legendary Yankees broadcaster saying why I couldn't an A-bomb from A-Rod?
That's still Michael Kay and John Sterling, and John Sterling is they have Sterling still uses the ear, but he still does this. He has
right.
He doesn't use the micro. He's really, really old school, but good guys anyway. Good guys. I'll never forget when the Red Sox won in 2004 at Yankee Stadium, and they must have been. Glenn and I were in the radio booth. We weren't on the air at that time, but we were headed down to the field. But the first two people to come in was Michael Kay and John Sterling. The first ones to come in the booth. They must have been in a break on the Yankee broadcast, and they came right in. They were next to us and shook hands and hugged us and said congratulations. And it's still the only time, and I don't know if they changed. It's the only time they ever played Frank Sinatra's New York, New York, because they only play Liza Minnelli when the Yankees lose. When the Yankees win, they play Frank, but it was the only time that they played Frank Sinatra's New York, New York, with that historic comeback by the Red Sox. Oh, those were the days. Baltimore blanks Texas 6-0 last night as well. Atlanta over the Mets 3-2. My goodness.
Soto cracks one deep left center field. Back goes Harris, takes a look, and it's out of here. Juan Soto gets the Mets right back into this game with a 2-run homer.
That was in the bottom of the sixth. I thought I clicked this play before that. Ronald Acuna Jr., though, earlier in the game and the third inning gave the Braves a 2-0 lead.
And Schwellenbach. Ronald gives this a ride to center field. How far is it going to go? Far enough to make it 2-0. Acuna has done it again.
Yeah, Mets go on to lose. They are 1-9 in their last 10, and your Phillies really gave it to them over the weekend as well. But the Mets have signed Dickie Lovelady. I kid you not, that is his name, Dickie Lovelady. He recently opted out of his minor league deal with the Twins. I'm reading off the New York Post story today, and reached an agreement Monday on a major league deal with the Mets, an industry source said. He's 29 years old, appeared in 2 games for the Blue Jays this season after bouncing between the Cubs and Rays last year. The Mets' only lefty in the bullpen is Jose Castillo, who arrived in a trade last month and was designated for assignment by the Diamondbacks. So, welcome to the major leagues, back to the major leagues, Dickie Lovelady. Right out of James Bond. I mean, that is just unbelievable. Pittsburgh. Go ahead. Dickie Lovelady.
I'm good.
Hey, Lovelady. I mean, I don't know what his middle name is. Maybe we can find that out. What
Probably.
Lovelady's middle name is. But that's a tough name to grow up with.
Sure is. Who's going to be the first one to come up with
Not
it?
even Richard, right? I mean, maybe its legal first name is Richard, but usually Dickie. I mean, I remember Lynn Dickey, the quarterback for the Packers back in the day. But Dickie Lovelady, tough name to grow up with in elementary school, junior high, maybe even high school. Hey, Dickie.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a professional ball player.
It's true, though. That is a tough name to grow up with. I want to know who's going to be the first one to come out with the actual Dickie under your uniform and put, like, DL up on the collar of it.
Dickie Lovelady. Seattle pounds Minnesota 11-2. My goodness. Guess who is absolutely on fire?
Bats tonight by the Mariners.
Well, there goes number 32. Cal Raleigh annihilates another one. He has homered in 4 consecutive games for the first time in his big league career. An exclamation mark on a monster night for the Mariners.
Yep. Seattle pounds Minnesota 11-2. Washington last night over San Diego 10-6. This was sort of a surprise that the Nationals have been really struggling. They jumped out to an early lead in this one, though.
Wood crushes one to deep right. If it's fair, it's gone. Fair ball, it's out of here. Just inside the foul pole, James Wood launches again on this road trip. Number 22. Against his old organization, James Wood makes him pay.
Hang the split, and I mean, he's just out in front. He doesn't even get all of it. It's only 102 off the bat, but that's some hardwood right there.
All right, final there was 10-6. Washington beats the San Diego Padres. And finally, Cincinnati and the Yankees went at it last night. Aaron Judge got the Bombers going early in the first inning.
All time. High drive, left field. Looks back, turning, looking, see ya. A long blast for Aaron Judge. And the Yankees are up 1-0.
Well, they're on their feet here, Michael. I think there's more Yankee fans than there are Reds fans. But, as a...
Certainly sounded that way. That was 1-0 Yankees. But here come the Cincinnati Reds.
Driven to right, Judge in steep retreat. Gone for De La Cruz. Triple single homer, his team leading 18th. He has erupted tonight. It's 5-1 Cincinnati. Go ahead, make him bat right-handed.
Yeah, this is the outstanding swing.
Yes, it was, and the 6-1 was a final last night in Cincinnati. I want to get to this Terry Francona. I just got to check something quickly here, real quick. Where is it? No, it's not there. Okay. All right, so there's your Major League Baseball rundown. All right, quick break, and when we come back, more analysis to tell you exactly all the details. Not a lot. Celtics get a big move. They get a big play here. Anthony Simons is coming along with 2 second-round picks from the Portland Trail Blazers. Deal happened late last night around 11:15, I believe. So most of you were probably sleeping Eastern time, that is. And they give up Drew Holiday back to Portland for this 26-year-old, I think, a star in the making. He's going to go right into the Celtics starting lineup. And then we'll come back and tell you, those soccer fans out there, I know there are a lot of you around the world because we are heard in like 55 different countries. So we've got a little analysis coming from the ESPN boys about Inter Miami FC and their incredible run to the Sweet 16 of the Club World Cup, where they will face one of the premier teams in the country, I'm told, in Paris Saint-Germain. No, they're not French. They are a Brazilian squad that is one of the best in the world. We'll have some analysis about that and a whole lot more. Phil Castanetti, Sports World in Saugus, Mass. is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. Head on down there, Phil Castanetti, Sports World, 184 Broadway in Saugus. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus, be there. Quick break, and we'll be right back. Pete Sheppard Show continues here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woo-hoo. Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
Campbell played there a little bit. Devers refused. There's a ground ball to short. Duran got himself in trouble here. Now he's in a rundown. Moore chases down Duran. Now a play at second base, and it's a double play.
Wow. We saw some bad base running recently for the Red Sox, and that typifies it right now.
In the words of Napoleon Dynamite, idiot. Stupid. And Jarren Duran's one of the best base runners in the game. But that was a big-time fuck-up, Little League 101 mistake last night, going from second to third on a hard grounder back to at shortstop. Just absolutely ridiculous. A major brain fart right when the Red Sox were starting to sort of rally after they were down 5-4 in the fifth inning, and that just absolutely killed it. Back here with the Pete Sheppard Show. Good morning here on the Coastal Sports Network. Thanks for checking us out here across the video platform on YouTube. And of course, on Twitter, on my X page at PShep326, YouTube, CSN Florida, Rumble, Kick, LinkedIn. Call or text the show, 727-858-6650. Don't forget the awesome app up above. Download it, SR1029 The Game, SR1029TheGame.com. Red Sox lose 9-5. Big story in sports, though. What happened late last night? Well, many of you were asleep, and that is because the Celtics traded away Drew Holiday, which is not a surprise at all. Trade him back to Portland for 26-year-old Anthony Simons, and also 2 second-round picks. Great move by Brad Stevens. As I said, this guy not only does it give some temporarily salary cap relief for the Celtics, they save $40 million, but this guy goes right into the starting lineup. He's a stud. Yes, we will all miss Drew Holiday, no question about it. Phenomenal two-way player when he's healthy. But you get a guy who's 10 years younger. He goes right into the starting lineup, shoots the three well. He's got some highlight reel stuff. If you don't know who he is, never played in college. He played in high school in Florida, right outside of Orlando, and then went right to the pros. And he's not with the Celtics. He will be a starter next year, no question about it. The other big story is Inter Miami FC. Wow. I mean, they played 3 games in 9 days, and they are the only MLS team, led by Lionel Messi, of course, there. And they are in the best in the world, PSG, and the CWC, which is there's so many cups out there, Angel, in professional soccer. I lose track of all of them. But this is pretty big. This one's pretty big, I'm told. The Club World Cup. So you have all these, okay, so you know how, I guess, all the MLS teams could have gotten here. And all these leagues, they're all different leagues all over the world. Those of you who've had FIFA on your PlayStation or Xbox know you can play in any one of these leagues. They're all unbelievable leagues all over the world. But Miami is the only one that has qualified from the MLS for this gigantic tournament. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of teams all over the world. Yep. And now they get to go up against, in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on June 29th, which is in 5 days, they go up against European champion Paris Saint-Germain. And it is not a French team. It is a Brazilian team. And they are ridiculous. They're like 26-6-2 in their last 34 matches. So tough draw for them. But look, here are the boys on I don't know their names, but here they are on ESPN discussing not only this Club World Cup tournament, but also how incredible and how unbelievable Inter Miami FC has been.
How do you sum up the night for Messi and company?
It's crazy that we're thinking it's a bittersweet advancement for Inter Miami, because nobody thought Inter Miami would be in this position.
Yeah, you picked them to lose 3-1.
I picked them not even to get out of the group. I picked them to be humiliated. I thought Messi and friends would be humiliated in front of the world.
Herculez Gomez.
That they would be the laughingstock of the tournament. And here they are undefeated. Here they are competing with the Brazilian giants. Here they are competing with the Portuguese giants. Here they are competing with the African giants. And they're the lone MLS team. Messi and friends keep defying the odds in ways that I thought they could never. Everything that was on display in the regular season, that you said, these are the reasons why Inter Miami will struggle. Defensively, they don't have the legs. They don't have the discipline. Their coach is inexperienced. Their star players are nearing 40 years of age. They won't have it in the tank. This is the 3rd game in 9 days. There's no chance they will do this. Oh, and by the way, they took them out of Miami to go play in Atlanta at one point. What's going on there? And yet, they are here. And they were 2-0 over Palmeiras. They were 2-0 over a Brazilian team with history, a giant that's proven well in their confederation, in CONMEBOL, in Libertadores, in whatever competition they're in, and they're beating them. And quite frankly, they should have beat them. So it's bittersweet because of where they were. And they were going to somehow get out of the way of PSG, somehow not have to face the European champion, and you get Botafogo, which, yes, is Libertadores champion, but a far cry from the team that won Libertadores. All those star players have long gone. A much better matchup, and it would have allowed you to keep dreaming of advancing in this tournament a little more than PSG. It's still, you're there. You're $20 million richer because of the advancement. You're $20 million richer because of how you've done here. But PSG's a tall ask.
What he said. Sounds great. Sounds great. Shocking. They're probably, out of the 16 final teams remaining, they have to be probably ranked 16th. I would imagine. I'm taking an educated guess because the MLS is, probably one of the worst leagues in the world. Maybe it's ranked the worst league in the world if you talk. But what Lionel Messi has done since he's been down. I mean, you see Messi shirts all over the place, everywhere, especially here in Florida. I mean, everywhere.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. I know it's kind of.
I'm going to watch that match on Sunday. I'm going to make sure I go out of my way and watch that. Definitely will. It's going to be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I have no idea. I'm going to assume it's on ABC. Maybe I shouldn't. It's going to be probably an afternoon game on Sunday after. It's 5 days, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, after Sunday is when they will play. And I guarantee you the viewership is going to be huge for that game. I'll bet you it beats Game 7 of the OKC Indiana game.
I think so.
Even though the Indiana OKC Game 7 was a fairly highly rated game for the NBA, I promise this is like, I think the whole country, and if you're a soccer fan, if you're a fan of the MLS, you're going to be tuned in Sunday to watch, not only because it's the only MLS team in it, but you got one of the greatest players in the world, one of the greatest of all time, and Lionel Messi playing. He didn't even score last night.
Nope.
He didn't score either of the 2 goals. So I think it's a huge draw, not only worldwide, but it will be in this country. You mark my words, that is going to be a very, very highly rated game. I was going to find out what time they're playing. I'm going to assume it's in the afternoon. And at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where we've seen many a great football game over the year in college, and now, and I guess the Falcons too somewhat, but this will be a huge soccer match, football match indoors. I bet you the ratings in Florida are through the roof. I think the ratings around the country will be through the roof.
Oh, it definitely will be. For any MLS game, especially when it comes to the Copa, there's a lot of them that obviously have pick up so much more momentum here, because a lot of folks even subscribe to different streaming platforms just so they can see their leagues overseas, La Liga, obviously over in England. So this ended up being, it will definitely be huge. And I think the one big thing too, the big takeaway, minus from the matches itself, but Messi has absolutely fell in love with Florida, because he says he still can go anywhere with his family, whether it be in a grocery store, the restaurant, anything else, and he doesn't get harassed or bothered or asked for pictures or any of that stuff.
Well, they know who he is. It's not because they don't know who he is. It's
correct.
Just, and I remember him saying that immediately when he walked into Publix last year and talked about it.
Yep. And he says a year later, and he still absolutely loves it, because he says no one, everybody kind of respects who he is. And, unless he goes up to you or approaches you or something else like that, or you happen to have the jersey on. But he said he absolutely loves it because absolutely no one, I guess bombards him the way he was overseas.
Mm-hmm. No question. But I'm telling you, I will be tuned in. I will go out of my way to make sure I do not forget. I got to try and find out the time of that game. I'm going to say it's going to be like 3:30.
It'll be mid-afternoon, because you got to figure it for the overseas folks, it'd be the wee hours of the morning for them. So they'll definitely end up. Anytime you do any kind of match like this, you always wonder where you can get the best of both sides of the house.
And Messi's just a draw anyway. It doesn't matter who he's playing for. People will tune in to watch him. He's arguably one of the most famous athletes in the world. Maybe in the top 2, 3. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
By the way, I got to find the Forbes list is out of the top 50 highest paid athletes. Cristiano Ronaldo is number 1. Take a guess. His yearly. Guess what he made last year?
Just for one season.
Just for his gross income for the year with everything.
I go with $35 million.
$275 million.
Good Lord.
$275 million.
That's insane.
Yep.
Jeez. Must be nice.
Not as insane as number 27 at $74.2 million last year. I remember this off the top of my head. At number 27, highest paid athlete in the world, according to Forbes magazine, based on income from last year at $72.4 million.
Must be nice.
Not him, but Tua Tagovailoa is the 27th highest paid athlete. Next break, if I have time, I'll come up with a list. All right. As we said, the Celtics made a major move last night, trading Drew Holiday to Portland for 26-year-old Anthony Simons and 2 second-round picks. Outstanding player they got back in return. Youth, they will sign him to an extension. He's 26. He's going to be a Celtic a long time, or at least 4 or 5 years anyway, and he'll go right into the starting lineup. It's a really, really good deal for the Celtics. Yes, Drew Holiday, I can't say it enough. He will be missed. But this kid, in return, I think if it's not a steal by the Celtics, it's a pretty good theft. And I know that some of the national media may not look at it that way. Certainly the knuckleheads on in the morning on ESPN, they just don't know enough about this guy. They all they want to do is trash and shit on the Celtics, thinking it was a salary dump. This guy they got back is an excellent basketball player. All right. Meanwhile, a horrible situation that happened in Game 7. It was terrible with about, 4 minutes to go. I was on the plane. I saw it happen. We had taxied, so I still had internet as well. But to see Therese Halliburton go down and confirmed, as his dad confirmed, and everybody else now, the Achilles tendon injury. I saw in his hospital bed. He had a selfie today, or yesterday, I should say, after having surgery. He's probably, like Tatum, he's going to miss all of next season, or a big chunk of it. Most of it will be out next year. Yesterday at Sirius XM NBA Radio, Antonio Daniels and Rob Perez on Therese Halliburton's decision to play in Game 6 and 7 despite being hurt.
Imagine if Therese Halliburton told the Indiana Pacers and Rick Carlisle, listen, I have a calf strain. I don't want to risk further injury because they told me it's a 15% chance that I can tear my Achilles or a 20% chance that I can rupture my Achilles, which means I have an 80 to 85% chance that I'll be fine. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm good. You know what? I'm looking toward my long-term future, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trust my teammates with this. And I'm going to sit out Game 6 and Game 7. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the backlash that he would have gotten? And I think this is a struggle that guys go through of understanding, I know what's best for my future is that I probably don't play. But can you imagine what people are going to say about me if I don't?
It might be more painful than the actual injury itself.
No question. No question.
All right. Here's the thing. The part about, I give him all the credit in the world, Tyrese Halliburton, for wanting to play. I get it. Now, what Rick Carlisle should have done in Game 6 was sit him down because it wasn't working. It just wasn't working. In Game 7, he was on fire. He was 3 for 3 from 3. He was on his way to a 30-plus point night. There is no doubt in my mind that game would have gone down to the wire. What I do not understand for the life of me is through all of that, the Pacers still had the lead at halftime, right? It was like 54-52 or whatever it was. They're up by 2 at the half, despite all of that. Because, again, Halliburton goes down in the first quarter with like 4 minutes to go, a little more than 4 and change to go. They hung around. They hung in there. Absolutely did. But then they got Red Sox stupid again with the turnovers that they had. Just stupid 5-second violations. Just unbelievable. Siakam just nuts. You come out, I don't know how, and it surprised me from a Rick Carlisle coach team. You don't come out at halftime more focused and more determined because, and maybe they just got in the locker room and said, we hung around long enough. We are totally deflated. Our star player, Tyrese Halliburton, is out for the rest of the game, going to be out all of next year, more than likely. But they came out so flat in the second half. And in the fourth quarter, they just got steamrolled in the third quarter. Absolutely steamrolled by OKC.
They did.
Here's Brian Scalabrine reacting to Tyrese Halliburton's Game 7 injury. This from the starting lineup.
I feel like the game would have had like a completely different feel if Halliburton was out there. He could have alleviated all that Oklahoma City pressure. So unfortunate. And by the way, who has ever stacked up a playoff run like this before? Like Indiana, the miraculous shots, the comebacks, the down at, like the 99% probability that you're going to lose a game and they figure out a way to get it done, and spearheaded by him, the teammates, the Brian Myers stat where 8 guys scoring over 200 points, that all has to do with a guy like Halliburton. And for him to go out like this is sad.
Yeah, it really is. Because it obviously, not breaking news. It changed the whole dynamic of the game. I think the Pacers would have been right with them, right down to the wire. Whenever he scores, Halliburton, their record when he scores over 20 points is ridiculous. They win like 95% of the time, and he was well on his way to going way over 20. I think he was going to go for over 30. He was on fire. And again, what's really sad, it's not even. It's such it's the same thing that happened with Tatum. He took a step and slipped. Same thing with Tyrese Halliburton. He fakes up at the top of the key, goes left, takes a step, bang, down he goes. And when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, geez, he's upset because he turned the ball. And then It only took me about a half a second. I'm like, oh my God, he's done. He is done. He was just had so much pain, banging the floor. You know who the first person over was to him? Right out, there's an angle, right? If you go back and watch it, if you taped it, and you feel like it, first one to run over to him was SGA. You know.
That's amazing.
And went over to him, and then obviously the whole team
right
went over and tried to console him. But that was just unbelievable last night, or a couple of nights ago. What happened? Aaron, we'll get to this. I'm going to get with Jay finally coming up from Beeves World in Ann Arbor coming up in just a couple of minutes here. Aaron Rodgers blamed the Jets' running game during his 25-minute diatribe that he went on. We'll get into that. Russell Wilson says he signed with the Giants because of wide receiver Malik Neighbors. This is from Anthony Rivardo's show.
I came here because of him. Big reason of it. I really wanted to play with a guy like special like him. I think also too, we got a lot of guys that have put a lot of hard work into it. We got a really good defense rushing the passer. We got a lot of dudes. That's a good.
Yep. Meanwhile, Washington Commanders, Austin Eckler is excited to see what quarterback Jaden Daniels can do during this upcoming season after winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. This is from Sirius XM NFL Radio.
I don't know what it is about, me being around rookie quarterbacks, but, I had, Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Herbert, when he was a rookie, and now I have, Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels now. So I don't know if it's, me being on the team or, but he's definitely exceeded expectations. And I think it's a good thing, not that I had low expectations for him, but you really don't know. So I think with quarterbacks, you come in, I've just been around long enough to know how much they have on their plate. There's a lot that they have to acclimate to. There's a lot, especially learning a new playbook and, getting into a new organization. It's the league now, and you were a second overall pick, a lot of high expectations. So it was like, yeah, I'm expecting you to play well. Now, go out and kind of have an MVP caliber type season and where you're competing in those conversations. Typically, you don't get that from players. That's not something that's often. There's usually a handful of guys that are playing at that caliber and can sustain that all year, and they're typically not rookies, I feel like. No, he crushed it last year. What I've seen from him going into this year, we have the same offensive coordinator, and so bringing that into the mix has now made it so now when we go through OTAs, Jay's already on it. Like he's beyond, kind of the rookie mistakes, like learning the playbook, getting the play call out slow. He's getting people lined up. We got new guys coming in. No, Debo, you're not over here. You're on this side. Like when you start to see him kind of orchestrating out there, you can tell there's that growth. He's starting to get more comfortable, which allows him to even play mentally faster and make better decisions. And so I think there's going to be even more growth this year, which is awesome because of where we're at with our team. We brought a lot of players back, still have a lot of playmakers, got to get Terry paid. And then, we're going to be looking like a powerhouse out there.
Yeah, and Washington, along with the Eagles and possibly the Dallas Cowboys, will be in the running for the NFC East.
Yeah, 3 out of 4, not Dallas.
No, well, not the Giants either. I don't believe so. I don't believe that's the case. Anywho, the Jay Flanagan is going to join me in just a couple of minutes here. I've also got the story about speaking of soccer and football. New York Jets owner Woody Johnson has agreed on 190 million, actually in 190 million euros. That's 254 million American dollars to buy 43% stake in the Premier League team Crystal Palace from American businessman John Textor. The club announced that yesterday. It's subject to Premier League approval, and Johnson, the former United States ambassador to the UK, you might remember, passing the league's owners and directors test, otherwise known as the Fit and Proper Persons Test. That is a true thing. I did not know that. And so it looks like that he will go there and screw up that organization too. Or you're going to get from Jets fans, especially if they get off to a bad start. And I don't expect them to finish in last place. I expect the Miami Dolphins to. And I think they'll be a better team under Aaron Glenn. But we'll see. It's still the Jets, and it's inevitable that how sucky they're going to be. But you will start to hear people, if they get off to a slow start, Angel, just like Red Sox fans do around here, even though they're entirely separate entities, and it's people think it's about not spending money here, but spending money there and all that stuff, because John Henry owns Liverpool, and now you have Woody Johnson's going to have a big piece of what happens to Crystal Palace. Is Crystal Palace any good? I don't even know.
I have no clue. That's the first time I
watched Ted Lasso to find out if these teams are any good. I don't know. I know they all have huge followings.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I have to do some research and take a look and see how actually big they are.
But that's the number one story on ESPN's page right now. The number one story. And if I get, let's see, I'll wait for Jay to pop in here. I'm going to let the ESPN people. I don't know who's doing this. They break it.
Visit Indeed.com/.
Shut up! They break it all down. Let me see.
It's time. It's Texter time. L'Equipe in France reports that John Texter has reached a deal to sell his Crystal Palace shares, Jules. Great news for Palace, and I guess great news for Lyon too.
Yeah, and I don't know if for John Texter if it's great news or not. I mean, good news, I think, for Woody Johnson, who is already an owner
Gab and Jules podcast.
In US sports and
whatever the hell
coming
is.
Into Europe for football, buying those shares at Crystal Palace for around 200 million euros. So JT, to be fair to him, will make a bit of a profit on how much he bought those shares, even if, as we've been saying many, many times, that meant nothing to him because he had absolutely no voice at that club or no power at all or anything like that. But this is the end of a long saga that felt that would never end, but now it's close to an end, and you would think that is good for Crystal Palace because that means they will be able to play freely in the Europa League next season, as there won't be the sort of multi-club ownership that threaten their non-participation to it or the participation to it. And for Texter, he can focus now on putting his Eagle Football Group onto the stock exchange and see where that leads him.
Woody Johnson, of course, the former U.S. ambassador to the United Kingdom, as you mentioned, owner of the New York Jets, and also, Johnson & Johnson Pharmaceuticals.
Yes, of course.
That's him. That's the
him.
company he inherited from from Grandpa.
Yeah.
And his first name, by the way, not really Woody. His full name is Robert Wood Johnson, but he goes by Woody rather than.
He goes by a lot of other names from me that I won't share with you at this moment. But anyway, just like that, joining us from Ann Arbor, his weekly visit here, Jay Flannelly from Beeves World is here, and he is going to break down what I think is one of the greatest sports names of all time. And right out of James Bond, the New York Mets add their only second lefty to the bullpen with Dickie Lovelady. Dickie Lovelady. Oh, he's got his Maverick shirt on too. Dickie Lovelady. Not Richard Lovelady, not Dick Lovelady, Dickie Lovelady. Good morning, Jay. How are you? If that's not out of James Bond, I don't know what is.
Yeah, we're both doing better than the Jets, and right now we're both presently doing better than the Mets. But yeah, the James Bond name, Austin Powers is the other one. Yeah, I mean, but as Trevor just mentioned, we had R.A. Dickey who won the Cy Young for us.
We had Lynn Dickey. from the Packers back in the day.
Yes, back in it. He was really good. Texas A&M.
We'll beat the Patriots one night on Monday Night Football when I think the Patriots were favored by like 12 points and they got embarrassed.
Okay, the tight end for the Packers in that game, the Hoffman, killed them in that game. I remember that. It was a Monday night game. I remember that.
It was definitely a Monday night game. They got embarrassed. It was like one of the few times where I was like, oh my, and they were big favorites in that game too. But anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, again, by the way, my real name isn't Beeve. It's Jay or James. Just want to make that sure and make sure nobody gets sued or anything.
Why? What happened?
And the Woody Johnson, the idiot on Woody Johnson.
Yeah. So again, and people, let's get right into that as far as Woody Johnson, because people have the same reaction with John, even though I can't stand what John Henry is not, what he's not doing. But people have to understand, even Jets fans are going to have to understand, this is not like he's focusing on Crystal Palace and not going to be focused on everything is entire separate entity. John Henry owns the Red Sox. He owns the Penguins. He's in Roush Racing with LeBron James and all. He's into a bunch of shit here. Yeah. And I know when he dumps $250 million like he did with Rafael Devers, people are going to say, oh, well, he's investing that kind of money, in Liverpool, which he owns, but it usually doesn't work out that way. It's all these things are kind of separate entities.
Separate LLCs, yeah.
Yeah, they're all separate. So, but Woody Johnson owning 43%, former ambassador to the UK or Crystal Palace. I don't, if they get off to a slow start, Jets fans will blame him and Crystal Palace for this. Trust me, it'll happen.
Who they blaming for the last 54 years or whatever the hell else they have? So they haven't been. My favorite stat is they haven't been to the Super Bowl since we landed on the moon.
Yes.
So, and by the way, I was given that by Ian O'Connor, the great and New York City metro area sports reporter.
Yeah.
So, and that's the best thing. That's a funny stat, and it's also true. So but yeah, the Jets should be fairly interesting because you and I have talked about it. I think the Bills are far and away the best team. And then I think the Patriots have real opportunity to finish second. I don't like Miami.
Miami's finishing last. I think Miami's finishing last.
I agree. And I'm hearing good things about Justin Fields. And I like Aaron Glenn personally, so I'm going to root for him. And I like Aaron Glenn. I like
Aaron Glenn personally as well.
Yes.
The only time I might root for him is opening game when they play the Steelers. And
that's going to be. It's amazing how that scheduling works.
We'll get to Flaky Boy in a second. Did you hear what he said yesterday? You hear what Flaky Boy said yesterday in 25 minutes?
Well, considering a lot of people call me Flaky Boy, but I know what you're talking about.
Not Flaky Boy. This guy's Flaky Boy. Oh, he ripped the Jets for not having a running game. Wasn't his fault. It was the Jets and the running game. That's why they.
Wait a minute. The running back was like a top 5 fantasy pick. Mark
Schlereth, who was one of his little buddies that he actually talks to, according to SteelersNow.com, Aaron and Mark Schlereth said this. Aaron and I had a conversation about when he was with the Jets, how abysmal their running game was and how schematically it made no sense. The Stinkin' Truth podcast, he said, I started the conversation, then Aaron went off for about 25-minute diatribe on their run game. The Jets drafted big back Braylon Allen in the 4th round in 2024 to pair with former 2nd-round pick Breece Hall to create what they thought would be the dynamic duo. But instead, the Jets ranked 31 in the NFL with 91.8 rushing yards per game, and Rodgers was often left disgusted and throwing his hands in the air when the short yardage run failed. The Jets had Rodgers. I'm reading from the Post-Star. The Jets had Rodgers, a friend, Nathaniel Hackett, as the offensive coordinator for the first 5 games under head coach Rob Saleh. And there it is right there. That's why you lost, was because of him, Aaron, and all the little binkies that you wanted to surround yourself with. And they all kissed Flaky Boy's ass and gave him everything he wanted. But Aaron Rodgers was not part of the problem. No, just everybody else. No, you were the 95% part of the problem, Flaky Boy. 95%.
Not a whole lot you can say. I mean, where is Hackett now, by the way? Does anybody know what he's doing? I have no idea. What is he doing?
I think
we know where Robert Saleh is. He's the defense coordinator of the Niners again.
Yep.
He's one of my favorite people in the NFL, Saleh. I love Saleh. And I love him more that he's away from the Jets. But it takes you about 5 years with the soap to wash the stink of the Jets off. So I mean, it's like there's the statute of limitations. When you're the head coach of the Jets, it's like 3 years of a normal job. It's like dog and cat years. So but yeah, I don't understand the complaints about the Jets. The Jets running backs are good. I don't know about their running game system, and I never really noticed anything obvious about them. The thing with them is their defense could get pushed around. They weren't good against the run. They're kind of set up to be like the Peyton Manning Colts with Dwight Freeney and those guys on defense, where they had the lead in their pass rushing. So, and then Jermaine Johnson and some of the other guys got hurt.
Yeah.
So, again, who cares what Aaron?
And it's opening game. Jets host the Steelers 1:00, September 7th, I believe, 1 p.m. Mm-hmm. I bet they would have had a bigger limelight had that deal got done. Had Aaron Rodgers not weighed, they would have got a bigger, because that is going to be,
that would have been the Sunday night game. I think it would have been one of the possibly the Sunday night game.
Yeah, and I'll be focusing on the Patriots opening game,
and they're playing at 1. They're going to be against that game, so you and I have the split screens or whatever.
Oh, we'll get. I'll have one TV here, but my buddy, we have another one on Red Zone all the time. So certainly that's going to be exciting, and I'd favor. I would pick the Jets in. I would pick the Jets in that game. Justin Fields versus Flaky Boy. I'll take Justin Fields and Aaron Glenn over Flaky Boy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So here's the funny part about that game, and it's weird, Pete, because you're big in the NFL too, like I am. But two good games for me and you to watch at 1 o'clock with the Patriots, because I think the Patriots Raiders game is going to be really interesting. So also,
I agree.
Yeah, because of Genty
and Gino Smith signing there.
And, who killed them last year? Yes.
Yeah, he did.
No, so it's going to be really interesting. I think it's weird, Pete. You know, as a guy who works and opens a sports bar on NFL Sundays, when you have good games at 1 o'clock, it's very rare now. It doesn't happen very much. So particularly now the opening weekend, you're going to have games spread out too. You have the foreign game Friday night, you have the Thursday night game, and then you have the Sunday night game, and Monday obviously. But it's going to be interesting. It should be fun. A lot of things are going to change. You know, Aaron Rodgers might quit at practice like next week and join the Peace Corps. You never know. I mean, it's that's one of the things. Can you imagine being a coach on the Steelers and you wonder if you yell at Aaron Rodgers, say something, will he quit and just go home?
Well, apparently, and I don't know how true this. I mean, you know, Mike Tomlin and he have talked for years or what. I don't know what the.
No. Let me phrase that.
I don't. Aaron Rodgers is not going to dictate to Mike Tomlin anything.
Yes. I was about to say, this is how that relationship goes. Mike's going to talk. Aaron's going to say, yes, sir, no, sir, and play. They told him, you're going to play quarterback. And first time, he goes on McAfee or something else and does something stupid, they'll cut him. They will not tolerate it.
Yeah, I'm sure the Steelers. Well, the Jets weren't going to allow him to go back on McAfee. The Steelers, I'm not sure if they're going to allow him to or what. But apparently I'm assuming they are going to. But he has been debinkified. Let's put it that way. No more binkies going to Aaron Rodgers. He's been debunked for binkies.
Neutered. He's been neutered and debinkied. That's funny. Debinkied.
Yeah.
No, he's just such a pain in the ass if you just shut up and play. I mean, it's just so goddamn stupid. Really is.
Our boy Tom Brady is a champion again. What can he not do? You saw this, right?
You're talking about the Fanatics Fest,
Every
right?
time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady emerged on Sunday as the winner of the inaugural Fanatics Games, which pits athletes and celebrities against fans in 8 competitions in New York. He finished atop the 100-person leaderboard with 399.1 points, took home the $1 million prize. He will give $5,000 to each of the 50 fans who competed.
And the rest to charity.
The rest is donating to charity. I have no idea what the Fanatic Games are. What are they? And I was away in Pittsburgh because what is it? What's the Fanatic Games? Does anybody know?
I think it was okay. So the only reason why I know what this is because Tom won it. But I think it's like the Superstars competition or different. They did different silly events. So Tom was dunking on one-legged midgets and handicapped kids. So there you go. It was just I don't know what to tell you. No, I'm half serious and half kidding. I think you have celebrities. They're doing events like cornhole stuff like that.
No idea. I don't know what any of the events are. I really don't.
Yeah, I think it's like silly stuff like I said, cornhole, dodgeball. And Tom's good at dodgeball. You've seen the videos, he and his family doing it, where his niece, who was a center fielder at UCLA, killing people in dodgeball, Maya. Yes. No, that's what I think. Go back and watch that video. Watch Maya throw. She never pitched, by the way, to UCLA. She's like the pitcher of the year in California. She's a center fielder. No, it's like fun events. But it was interesting. I mean, again, Tom wins, and I didn't have to send him scouting videos and prep tapes. So there you go. So it was good. Hey, Tom, this is how you win cornhole. So no, it was fun. So Fanatics Fest, you don't understand what it is. It's get all these celebrity and athletes together, and it's like what it sounds like, a big fan fest, like a big summer festival type of thing. And Fanatics run by Michael Rubin, and Durant learned that he was traded on stage when it happened. Of course, that was all staged.
That's when I was away, and that's because I know ESPN was broadcasting there some useless broadcasts that they do that nobody tuned in for.
Well, that's the entire programming of ESPN, but
99% of it. 99% of it.
Imagine what they're going to be like when they don't have baseball.
I mean,
it's going to be nuts next year.
Baseball has such a low fan base anyway. I was telling, we were talking about this. Inter Miami FC down here, and they are. I mean, I'm not a huge soccer guy. I follow the World Cup every 4 years.
Messi's team, correct?
Messi's, they're the only MLS team in this group of 16, and I promise you, on Sunday when they play against this team from from Brazil, Paris Saint-Germain, which is one of the top teams in the world, club teams, there'll be a huge rating. It'll be bigger than any of the NBA games. I promise you. Coming up on Sunday, it'll be bigger than any of that. Let's get back to
Beckham owns that team, correct? He helped bring in Messi, right? That's the team. Is that the team Beckham owns? He owns one of the Miami teams, right?
Well, there's only one.
Okay, so Beckham, when Beckham retired from the Galaxy, he got part of the investment group of the Miami team, and he helped bring in Messi. And so many of these other guys who are his friends.
Yeah, Messi's a draw around the world no matter what.
It was the best thing. The best thing they've ever done is bringing him in they had the Apple Plus Apple TV package with games, and you can watch all Messi's games. Just really smart.
All right, back to the NFL. Travis Hunter, first rookie, signs his deal, fully guaranteed, $46.65 million. His 4-year contract includes a $30.57 million signing bonus paid up front. The first non-quarterback, not drafted first or overall, to get his signing bonus entirely up front, according to his agents, Adi Von Gontard and Ray Haja of Young Money APAA Sports. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that at all. Did you? Does that surprise you at all that Travis Hunter got all of his money up front, $30.57 million? Hasn't played it down yet in the NFL, but that's what the Jaguars think of him. I think it's from a mentality standpoint for him. I think it's dead on. Hear that, Bengals? Hello.
Well, they're about to trade. They're about to trade Trey Hendrickson, by the way. So and one of the teams that they're linking him to is the Patriots, by the way.
I've also heard that as well. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
So have Trags on speed dial.
I'm gonna hopefully get him on tomorrow.
Maybe when they trade Trey Hendrickson, the money saved, they'll go out and pay Shamir Stewart, their first round draft pick, who they don't want to pay either. But
you're so off base. Don't you know they have to put the field in for the new practice facility? They have to put water fountains in. There's a lot of things that have to be done. So how dare you say they're going to go after players when they have all this practice facility stuff and payments they need to make?
The best part about you joking about the new practice facility,
that's right.
The only reason why that's getting done is Joe Burrow made them do that.
Yeah.
And that's well known. And by the way, when the DeMar Hamlin thing happened,
yes,
Burrow was the one who talked to Josh Allen, and they stopped the NFL from making a big mistake in playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a lot of stuff going on in that game that just was weird. The Tyler Boyd, the wide receiver on the Bengals, his roommate at Pitt was like DeMar Hamlin. So he's telling Joe Burrow when this is going on who this is. And this is all going on. And you remember, Josh Allen's in shock.
Yeah.
And somebody who's important called Burrow and Josh Allen when they went to the locker room and told them, hey, you guys are the quarterbacks here. Stop this. You shouldn't play. You got to figure out what's going on. Your teammate might be dead.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out. Don't stop these people. Refuse to play. And Burrow took the lead, and they stopped. Because very similar to when President Kennedy was assassinated, and you and I were big in the NFL when 9/11 happened, and they stopped that immediately.
Yeah.
Because Commissioner Tagliabue was awesome.
Yep.
And he stopped things immediately because he lived through the Kennedy thing. I actually think he was at Georgetown when it happened.
Mhm.
By the way, Paul Tagliabue was a great basketball player at Georgetown, if you didn't know that. Go look up his stats. He was a really good basketball player.
Mhm.
Commissioner Tagliabue was.
Yep.
So the Bengals it's sad because they have a really good team. And just with non-retarded ownership, they'd be really good. But they have severe retarded ownership, so that's part of the. Sorry if I offended any of the handicapped people. But it's just literally the brains don't work right.
Well,
They
Rebecca
don't
Lobo, I'll tell you that. You saw what happened with that.
No, I didn't. What happened with Rebecca?
Oh, well, let me.
She got a hot mic. She got a hot mic.
No, right on. And this is what's so sad about what has happened in this country. She did a retraction where none was needed. And let me scroll down here. I'll play it for you.
This is Rebecca Lobo, the basketball player.
Yeah. Well, she's doing color commentating on ESPN.
Great UConn center. First time they won the championship.
Oh.
I haven't heard about this yet.
No, and let me hang on. Give me 1 second here while I thought I retweeted it. I may not have. Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay, listen to this on the WNBA. This is Indiana's playing Las Vegas. Okay, just listen to this.
So they disagree with you. They do, and I disagree with them, and that's fine. That's what makes America great, right, Pant Ward?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
You can't be a Trump supporter on ESPN. That's the message here.
Yes, that's a better way to say it.
Just listen.
I should rephrase that. Yes.
No, you should.
Yeah, I did think. Opinion are perfectly. Yes, fine. That's a better way to say it. Sorry.
What do you mean that's a better way to say it? And I don't know what to. Who cares? You can't say.
She wasn't trying to be like President Trump. She was just talking.
She was just talking, and then to have that awkward silence. And again, is it Pam Moore who's doing play-by-play? Awkward silence. Like, fucking grow up, people. So if I go out and say, hey, this is what makes America great. I'm lumped in as a. You can't say those words without being lumped in as a Trump supporter. If fucking Biden did that, or any politician, it's so ridiculous. And Rebecca Lobo is apologizing for it. Come on, man.
So yeah, I mean,
the whole.
By the way, one of the biggest online media supporters of President Trump is Stephen A. Smith. Go look at Stephen A.
Yeah, I'm so sick of Stephen A. and his.
I know, but he's the biggest star. That's my point. He's the biggest star at ESPN.
He says he's not. He says a lot.
No, actions, not words. Watch.
Yeah, I know, but I've also he fits whatever agenda he thinks people will draw attention to him. That's why I hate talking about it. But that is unbelievable that Rebecca Lobo thought she needed to apologize for that. So nobody in this country can ever say again, boy, that's what makes America great. Hey, great school system, that's what makes America great. If you say that, you're automatic.
Hey, you're great, Pete.
Hey, Jay, you are what makes America great. And you're wearing your Top Gun shirt.
Well, I mean, the funniest thing about the attack in Iran, they basically did the Maverick simulation and the attack, which was amazing. I mean, it's crazy when you think. And that movie was made in 2019.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I mean, I think I mentioned this one other time, because again, they don't make Top Gun and Maverick to be overly political because they want everybody to go see the movie.
Yeah,
but that was Iran. They were attacking. In Maverick, it's Iran. If you understand how they outlined everything, hey, they broke a tree,
Yeah,
it's Iran.
And also Mission Impossible. The other thing I like about Mission Impossible, the latest, is
Quinn saw it again, by the way.
I saw it twice too. They never made it political. No. They were obviously kind, but they never
partly because how Tom Cruise is
about Democrats or Republicans or anything like that. It was strictly. By the way, man, I'll tell you what, it's even better the second time, and I see it again. That movie is unbelievable. You need like a shot of something when you get out. You're so juiced and like it is so intense. The 99% of the movie There's very little downtime. It is just awesome. It really
The
is.
underwater stunts and
It's that
stuff.
24 minutes of no talking.
So
Nothing.
I'm going to see, speaking of Tom Cruise in movies, he was at the F1 premiere with Brad Pitt and the guys because his buddy Joel's the director who did Maverick.
Yep.
I'm going to the F1 premiere here in town on Thursday night. So I'm going to see that. That looks amazing.
It does.
By the way, if you don't feel old, Pete, Brad Pitt's 61.
I know, man. Unbelievable. Hey, Jay, I got to take a break here. First, I got to go to the bathroom. Second, Michelangelo's coming on. But you the man. Thank you so much. And you're on with Angel tomorrow at 6?
That's the plan, the battle plan to bring in the WWE Tag Team Champions back, me and Angel. Angel and the Beeve off the top rope. Woo!
When next we speak, it'll be next week. It'll be 7 weeks closer to college football. So, Jay, you the man. Thanks so much, and we look forward to having you back.
Man, you gotta beat the man.
You are what makes America great. Let me tell you. I'm not,
Styling and profiling, baby. I gotta go. Angel and Pete, have a good one, guys. Thank you.
All right, Jay. We'll see you. All right, Angel. Quick break here. When we come back, Michelange are going to join us here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
Short at the end. Got himself in trouble here. Now he's in a rundown. Moore chases down Durant. Now play at second base, and it's a double play.
Wow. We saw some bad base running recently for the Red Sox, and that simplifies it right now.
Alex Cora came immediately out of the dugout.
Somewhere I hear Mel Allen. Somewhere, the late great Mel Allen. Of course, the This Week in Baseball theme. This would have been in your one of many Red Sox, not in your top 10 highlights from last night as Little League 101. You do not go from second to third on a ground ball hard hit to shortstop. But Jared Duran, who was one of the best base runners in the league, made a major faux pas last night, right when the Red Sox were rallying in the fifth inning. And they ended up losing that game. 9-5 to the Angels. Just another blunder base running move by the Red Sox to go along with their stupid errors on Sunday. And they continue to just find new ways to disappoint me. Just saw what happened. Mick was there, and then he wasn't. And we're going to welcome in Mick Colaggio in a second.
He was giving you the I can't hear move while you were talking. So, yeah, apparently he couldn't hear, so he probably bounced out and come back in.
Okay.
So he's got his new laptop, and I don't know why in the world it's acting up so much for him, but apparently every time he disconnects, and then, like last week, it was perfect. He connected, came right on, and no problem. But apparently this time he tried to connect his headphones, and for some reason he said he couldn't hear. So hopefully he'll come right back.
Yeah, hopefully he will. And we'll get his thoughts, NHL insider Mick Colaggio. Let's see. Is it there? Hello, good morning, Mick. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can see you. I see you. I see you. Can you hear me? I see you. I see you, and I can't hear. Can you talk? Talk. Let's see if I can hear him. Talk. Speak.
Nope.
Can you? Your mic's off. I see you fine. I see you fine.
He's gonna go back out and come back in again.
I couldn't tell if he was on his phone there or his laptop.
He says he's going to reboot. He's on his laptop. He's always on his laptop.
All right.
So he's going to come back.
So also yesterday, Angel, your Flyers get a deal. The Ducks traded Trevor Zegras to the Flyers for Ryan Poling and draft picks.
Yep.
So
you can tell how enthused I am with the Flyers right now. Hopefully they'll listen. I hope, and I know they will. The boys up in the front office will get it done because they're the same boat as everybody else. They're just tired of losing, and it's been so close to try to get back to the playoffs. And the hope is that it'll happen this season. I said when the boys came on to take over the front office and the Flyers, it would be at least about 3 seasons even before you would start getting the inkling of getting back to playoff contention. But they're trying. I can't mock the Flyers. They're really trying.
I think it's a good deal. I'll see what Mick thinks if we ever get him back on. This guy, he was the number 9 overall pick 6 years ago, 2019. He's 20. Oh, he's only 24 years old. So
jump side.
During his rookie year, he finished in points per game 0.81, and power play goals he had 9. Finished as a runner-up for the Calder Trophy to Moritz Seider for the Red Wings. So that's a good deal. Absolutely, is a good deal.
I just want to see what. Interesting to see what happens with Brad Marchand. Although he also kind of hinted that he wants to stick around, but again, who knows what's going to end up happening? I mean, listen, if somehow the Panthers can put this entire squad together once again, there's no reason why. I'm not saying they can go back to back to back, but because everybody knows, I mean, the hockey injuries come quite often, but the way Paul Maurice has taken this team and putting the Panthers on the map, I mean, it's a great probability they can at least get back to the playoffs. So I'm not going to jinx them by saying they're going to go back to back to back. But for the job that he did, even with some of the guys he unloaded after winning the first one, that's a hell of a job by Paul Maurice and Florida Panthers. So
Bill Zito, the GM too, deserves a whole lot. The whole organization, top to bottom. And I was actually on Meter's podcast this past Sunday from my hotel room. And we were talking. Let's see if Mick is there. Mick, can you hear me?
No.
Can you hear me? Can we play the I Dream of Jeannie theme? Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
But the parade was the other day, right over the weekend, and that was something. Got better weather this year than they did last year when it was a monsoon.
They did, but I'm just also kind of surprised too that the Panthers fans didn't come out in full numbers the way they did. Oh, hang on.
Oh, there you go. I heard you, Mick.
Oh, hang on.
I hear you now, and I see you. Can you hear me?
Why am I not hearing you, Pete?
I don't know.
Oh, now I do.
Now you do. Okay, there you go. I see you and I hear you.
Okay, that only took 12 minutes.
Took as long as the Red Sox running into that double play last night. It is wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm rather discombobulated today. I think part of the problem is that 100% of our technology today is being spent on air conditioning because today we are Southern Florida.
Oh, what is it?
In June.
Yeah,
Late
it could
June.
be 40 tomorrow, though. But hey, so what is it, 90 degrees up there today?
Our forecast is for 3 digits in the warmer areas and deep into the 90s today, even here near the coast.
Well, head to Cape Cod or head to the South Shore. You'll be fine.
Well, this is the I am in a gateway to Cape Cod.
Yes. You can go there and the Cape Cod is the Cape Cod Baseball League still going on right now? No, it should be.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's in full swing right now.
A pretty strong rival.
The College World Series is over. All the kids are going over there to play.
That's correct. The Wareham Gatemen are our home team right across town. They play behind Town Hall in the high school at Spillane Field, which I understand to be newly refurbished.
Really?
And redesigned. Yeah, it's supposed to be really nice now. So some of my neighbors have been going again. Yeah, we have billet families right in our neighborhood here.
It's such an awesome. It's the best amateur league in the country in any sport. There is no question about it. And I was proud to be part of for about 5 or 6 years in a row, I emceed the first pitch brunch to kick off the season. There's always at the 99 in Yarmouth or West Yarmouth, one of those Yarmouths. And it was always it's incredible. It's the best amateur league in the country. You get all the kids from the College World Series that are there. It's unbelievable. Games are free. They pass around a hat. You put a buck in it. Everybody's a volunteer. The players all stay at homes that are for free. That everybody in all the areas in the entire Cape put up these kids for nothing, and they live there for a couple of months. It's really, really unbelievable. And
if you're a real baseball person, you know who the future major leaguers might be.
Oh, no question.
There are some who make it all the way that are become star players in the majors.
A lot of them there make it all the way. Tons of players there make it all the way. It's really incredible. They use wooden bats, no aluminum.
That's correct. It gives college players an opportunity to play the pro game during their summer. There is a rival league now that has sprung up that really wasn't very much to speak of when it originated. I'm going to say a little less than 20 years ago. I was still working at the Standard Times in New Bedford at the time, the New England College Baseball League.
Isn't there a team in Newport, Rhode Island has a team in that league?
Well, I think, that's right. The Gulls have been around forever, and Cardines Field, as you know, has been around forever. But they are now host to a team that plays in that league, and therefore their games are on ESPN Plus.
Oh, that's great. But the Cape League is something I know. Their games are on Nesson locally. I think John Meter-Perel does some play-by-play for it from time to time as well. It's an amazing take, and if you've never been down there, part of it, just go and just treat yourself. It really is. I mean, there's tons of players that come out of that league that go, if they've not already been drafted into the majors. I mean, Jason Varitek the list is endless of how many great players have played in that league. And when you ask them, a lot of times when you ask them about what are their favorite parts about getting to the majors was, and it's inevitable, they all talk about the Cape League. The ones that played in it, how special it was to them, and how it made them, it helped them get to the majors, playing in that league specifically.
Baseball is such a lifer of a sport. You have to spend pretty much 80% of the hours of your day being a baseball player in order to be anywhere near the show. And when your time comes, and it takes a long time for it to happen, it's a really tested dedication of a player, almost the way a radio broadcasting does.
Well,
you're in the weeds for a long time before anybody sees you sprouting above the grass. So
literally,
Pete knows all about this.
So do you. I mean, just look, hey, you talk about. You talk about. I always remember him. Hammer. Then when they're too legit to quit, we started at the bottom. Now we lead the way, and yay, I'm having a fit.
And by the way, for the CCBL Cape League, to a man, everyone makes a face anytime the '90s movie Summer Catch is ever mentioned. There it is. Here's the face.
Horrible movie with what's his name.
With what? Freddie Prinze, right?
Freddie Prinze. It's just a horrible script. It had nothing to do with
it was a rom-com set against the Cape League.
I think the pitcher's mound and one of the play. It was a horrible.
Yeah,
horrible.
I think a couple of real people made cameos. Real people from the league made cameos.
Yep.
But one of the things about it is that it happened, I think, in the early 2000s, maybe about 20 years ago or less, maybe a little more. That they no longer are able to use Major League Baseball team nicknames. So
really,
Wareham has always been the gateman, but they had Red Sox uniforms, including the old stirrups that were red, then white, then navy, then white, then navy.
Yeah.
And but though they look different now. But all the team names are different now, like the Chatham A's. Everybody's got a.
Well, Couture
it used to be the.
Couture was the Kettleers, right? Couture was the Kettleers.
They still are. Yeah. But any team that's not a derivative of a major league team, I don't know if it's like the Dennis Yarmouth Red Sox or whoever was.
That's what it was, the YD Red Sox. But that's just dumb by Major League Baseball, as if they can't use the publicity. It is so ridiculous. If there's one league that needs it, It is Major
We
League Baseball.
considered it petty at the time, and this many years later, somehow Major League Baseball is able to dole out contracts to players like Otani and others that make our heads spin. So they're doing fine without the publicity offered by the Cape League.
Well, when last we spoke, the Florida Panthers had not won the Stanley Cup.
Oh, is that true?
Yes. But here they
They
are.
got in your mind now, right?
You Senator Palpatine, Darth Sidious over there, went to the dark side and Jedi mind trick, Sith Lord mind tricked me into picking the Edmonton Oilers in 6, and I regret it. But certainly, the Panthers and what they accomplished is nothing short of. You've been talking about it for months and comparing them, and rightly so, to the early mid '80s Edmonton Oilers. It really is something, and it appears, at least on the surface, Mick. If you believe what Sam Bennett said, I still don't know what's in the heart of Brad, but it certainly seems like they could have most of these guys back next year because nobody wants to leave.
I think defense is going to be the big issue because Ekblad, while he's not, if you pick him apart as a hockey widget, he's not a superstar, but he is sort of the soul of the back end of that team and has been for several years. Before this iteration of excellence, he's been the soul. So, and then Brandon Montour for a while looked like he was going to grow up to augment that and be the next personality to emerge because you're such a strong offensive player and adequate defensively, and then all the intangibles, incredible player. And then they can't keep him, and he goes to Seattle. It is now, if you don't keep Ekblad, and I feel like there's going to be some fallout here. No team gets through this and stays completely together. They just don't. Look at the Blackhawks, the 3 times they won the Stanley Cup and how they had to tear down. They don't have quite enough space. And even if they do, then awful lot of their bottom 6 guys and stuff that are up for contracts, they're all going to have to be changed out for younger developing players or retreads from other teams that just need a tryout kind of contract. The math is not on their side, but obviously Bennett's staying. If you don't keep Bennett, you don't keep winning because the architectural foundation of the Florida Panthers roster is the 2 impactful elite center play with Barkov and Bennett.
Do you think that Bennett, I'm not going to say damaged himself, but, I don't know if it was the alcohol or whatever, just the excitement. He says, I'm not going anywhere. Does that give the Panthers, you think, an advantage? Like, okay, maybe he's not going to ask for an 8-year max, huge contract. Maybe we can make him, maybe this is a time, maybe we could get him to stay for a hometown discount, whatever that may be. What do you think?
I don't think he comes in substantially below Matthew Tkachuk. And Matthew Tkachuk was, I think, 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
So Barkov and Bobrovsky are at 10, I think. But Bennett, it would seem like anything less than 9 is sort of expecting him to take a retirement age contract to play out the last final years of his. But he's not. He guy is like what, 31 or something. I know there's some hard miles over these last few years, and the game that he plays is extremely brutal on his own body because he just runs through people like the Terminator. I mean,
sometimes quickly, but nevertheless, he's a guy everybody wants. You can hate on him all you want. There isn't a National Hockey League team would say, well, I don't want this guy on your team.
He's also a classic case of a guy whose value to the Panthers is greater than it will be to another team. Anybody who wants to, if he goes to market because he's insulted at what Bill Zito comes up with, then some team's going to overpay for a guy who's not going to produce at a level that might help them, that might make a regular season difference for them, even being in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He's a player who perfectly fits where he is and is able to make his contributions impactful in the playoffs. That is what he does. And so I don't know if there's any better place, if there's any scenario in which it would be a happy story for him to go if he doesn't stay with Florida. He's determined that he's not leaving. He wants
He
to
is
work it
29
out with
years
them.
old. He is 29 years old. He just had a birthday.
29. Okay.
June
All
20th.
right.
He said a birthday 4 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he might be a guy who has a 35-year-old body in 2 more years, but you know what? The Florida Panthers, you build your team and you draft and you acquire, you do all these things in order to be where they are right now. It makes no sense not to do everything possible to keep it going. So your best chance at continuing to win, and Bill Zito understands this better than anyone,
He said it. We're
is
spending. He said it. At least he said it. We're spending to the limit as much as they can. That's what he said.
they have to try to keep this team together, and it starts with Sam Bennett. That's where it starts.
Agreed.
Then you deal with tomorrow's problems tomorrow, but today's problem is Sam Bennett. After that, then you talk about Aaron Ekblad and make a decision about him and whether or not there's a pathway. Now, granted, this team has went on from made massive changes. I didn't know if they would survive losing Radko Gudas. He was so good for them in a 23 playoff run. And then you get and then you lose Brandon Montour and Oliver Ekman Larson, and you're thinking, really? It's going to be Nate Schmidt and
You get
Nico
Jones. You're going
Mikula?
to get Jones. Then Jones.
And then at the deadline, they got Seth Jones.
Yeah.
So this is incredible what they've done to successfully backfill their lineup with guys whose careers had not achieved their full potential. But in this uniform, they have. And that's the team that you want to be. You want to be the magnet to players whose careers have not achieved their full potential. The Boston Bruins aspire to that and have had some success doing the very same thing with Hampus Lindholm, Pavel Zacha, Morgan Geekie. Guy was a Group 2 restricted free agent with the Seattle Kraken, and they did not even qualify him, which all he means is you have to offer him 15% or something over his last contract, and which is low money at the time. And they just said, no, we'll restock our prospects. You're good to go. Good luck to you. And he scored over 30 goals for the Boston Bruins this past season. So, and he's up for contract right now, by the way. So this is what you hope to be as a franchise. The Florida Panthers have just soared right past what the Bruins thought they were doing well and made it
I think it's an
story
interesting.
of the league.
It's a great point you just brought up, and it's interesting. Do you think the Florida Panthers looked previously, say, I don't know, really from 2012 or 2015 until maybe up until like 3 years ago, and said, that's what we need to do. We need to do what the Bruins are doing. That's how we're going to become. Of course, the Bruins, went to several Stanley Cups, won 1 and 11. But I'm saying after that went 0-2, lost to the Blackhawks, lost to the Blues. But they were very highly successful. Do you think the Panthers looked at the Bruins as a model for where they are now? And now do the Bruins look to the Florida Panthers in the same fashion? Like, shit, we got to get back to that.
Yes, with the huge asterisk the size of Jupiter, and that's the Tampa Bay Lightning. Because
I agree.
Because the intra-state rivalry told the Panthers all they needed to know after winning the Presidents in 2022, 122 points, and then getting spanked by the Lightning, and Bill Zito having his moment where he realized we're not good enough. And we need to change the culture of our team. We need to rip the core of our team. We need to re-identify ourselves. And the way he wanted to match up, it was not so much about skill, but it was about snarl. And they had skill already. They didn't have snarl in the quantity that they got it later from Kachuk and Bennett. That changed the trajectory of the Panthers. And coincidentally, the Lightning had gone through their sweet spot and were having difficulty keeping their big three both together and or healthy. And without it, that's their foundation for success. And And that's how it went away on the Lightning. And now I figured with McDonough back, this might be their turn to turn the tables on a Panthers team that should have been exhausted. And instead, the Panthers beat the hell out of them, schooled them, ragdolled them. And so that's just, I mean, you wonder what the Lightning are thinking now. But yeah, they were the model, more so than the Bruins. But the Bruins have been for a long time. You know, when you win 50 over 82, for 7 or 8 years, everybody wants to be like you.
What it's funny here, and there were about, I don't know, I mean, there were about 400,000 people at that parade, you know, and that looked pretty crowded to me. How about the cheers of "Thank You, Boston" when Marchand was up to "Thank you"? I hate it's just unbelievable. And I'm wondering what's in his heart of hearts. You know, I know you know him a little bit, and you've covered him. You know, if he still wants to keep playing and all that stuff, and I believe he does, why wouldn't he want to stay with the Panthers?
You know what? When you're in the moment there, your enemies have become your friends. And there is so much that he used to say about the Bruins room that he now says about theirs. Quote, "We love each other." This is the way that team plays for one another. They've become the gold standard. They're it now. And for him to have this chance to share the Stanley Cup championship with his wife and kids, something that wasn't around in 2011 when he was a 23-year-old, second year pro or third year pro. He was made third year pro, first full NHL season. He was impactful to the Bruins win. He was not a passenger. He was huge as that season went along. But after this awesome career with some close calls and a culture of excellence, it looked like he was going to fade to the background against with a team he loved and a life he loved. But when that fell apart and he wound up being traded, he had to go into a new situation. And I think the experience of being on the Bruins and having guys come into his room as the Bruins gave up first rounder after first rounder, hoping to load up for their own playoff runs over the last 5 years of Marchand's career. Taylor Hall, I mean, there's a lot of guys who came in to play for the Rick Nash. And so I think for him, that was only 2 years after the Stanley Cup, and they went back to the final. Jaromir Jagr as a Bruin, that was amazing. But so that
how many empty nets did he miss?
Jagr didn't find the net much for the Bruins, but he was a very good player. He was so effective because of his gigantic back end. No, like the old pond hockey move where you put the puck on one side of your body and just swivel to keep the person who wants to take it off of you. Jaromir Jagr is the all-time greatest because he could just he could hold university on that for hockey players. He was the best at it technique-wise. He was the best at it body-wise. And so, that was a great era for Bruins hockey. And now they're going to try to create a whole new era now that they're switching uniforms, and now to be announced tomorrow.
Two last questions. One, and I know we brought this up before. I think I know what your answer is going to be. Is there even a residue of a chance that Marchand comes back to the Bruins this year? Would they want him back?
I don't see that either. I don't think they're like, oh man, look at the playoff he had. It's still in him. We blew it. We have to get him back. Let's come back and give him whatever he wants plus some. I don't see that. If that wasn't in them prior to meet his request, and then he wanted to go in the middle, reportedly in the middle between what Boston had limited to his prior salary, which is pretty handsome, not great, but pretty handsome. And then he cut that in the middle and they said, no, we've gone as far as we can. We're going to trade you. And because the Bruins are eager to commit to the future, they're eager to get back draft capital, prospect capital, and then use free agency and the trade market in order to be formidable again next season. Well, I'll see that when we believe it.
Yeah.
But that's their premise, that they could have their cake and eat it too. And a lot of people forget this. The Bruins are not seeking to drift into the background and be a powder keg in 5 years. They're seeking to use what they have to go forward as soon as possible, but also have the new backing of prospect pool generated by draft picks and recent prospects who have emerged. They got some good ones now. So I feel better about the future than the present, but the present is not out of the question for them as far as being a playoff team, being a cup contender. I think there's serious questions there for probably a 3-year program before we can get serious.
Mick, before I let you go, you had a great tweet today about Wayne Cashman, number 12, the captain, for a long time on the Bruins. And you used the word underrated, which is exactly what I'm thinking. And there's so many Bruins, I think. I mean, the real Bruins fans understand underrated. And there are so many underrated, quote unquote, underrated Bruins. I think we could talk about for 10 hours straight, if not longer. But where does he rank as far as underrated? He's got to be number one. He's got to be at the top of my list. Wayne Cashman, always one of my favorite players. Went about his business from the time he was with the Bruins. He always looked like he was 45 years old, even though he was 20 something, because of the lack of hair and all that stuff, and always had the ball spot and everything. You always knew where he was. Players didn't wear helmets back then. But you always knew, even if Channel 38 wasn't coming in quite so clear, you always knew where Cashman was on the ice because the light would reflect off his ball spot coming down. But where do you rank Wayne Cashman on your list? You're such a Bruins aficionado, but as far as underrated players go, is he not at the top of your list? And should he be
as far as significant franchise, impactful, all time. A lot of people don't realize that until the recent emergence of Bergeron, Marchand, who have had these great 20-year careers, Wayne Cashman held the 6th all-time points franchise history for like decades, and that's been the legacy of his career. He's never been the face of the franchise.
Exactly.
And the fateful 1979 Too Many Men on the Ice game at the Montreal Forum, he scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
Rick Middleton scored 2 goals.
Yep.
If the Bruins hold on and don't make that mistake at the end of the game, just for those who are not generationally available to this, they had a Too Many Men on the Ice, the mother of all Too Many Men in the Ice penalties that the linesman gave them extra time to recognize.
I'm not listening to. I'm just kidding.
Guy Lafleur, the only Montreal Canadian Pete Sheppard ever loved, scored to tie the game, beat Joe Gilbert on what it took. Gilbert was playing so well in that series, it took a perfect shot, and Lafleur made it under pressure.
He looked like he got shot by a sniper.
Yes, he did, and he did. He did get shot by only the miss. The miss was the hit. So, yeah, he hit the far left corner about 6 inches off the ice.
The Bruins would have swept the Rangers that year. The Bruins would have swept the Rangers in the final. I'm absolutely convinced of it.
Well, I asked Brad Park about this once because Anders Hedberg, the revived Phil Esposito, revived Carol Vadney, and the emerging characters, the Maloneys, and all the character play, Eddie Johnstone, character players, John Davidson and net. That was a pretty good team. They absolutely kicked the crap out of the Flyers. And in the prior round, and so when they were playing kind of like almost like a Euro version, and Montreal was so beat up after beating the Bruins in 7, Brad Park told him in the handshake line, just hang in there for a couple of games, you guys will be okay. And they lost game 1 at home at the Forum. Game 2, the Rangers led late in game 2 and blew it. And the Canadians never looked back and won it in 5 at home. Bob Gainey, Conn Smythe. And that was their last of their 4 straight Stanley Cup run before the Islanders dynasty took hold finally.
there are iconic moments, not just in Boston sports history, but we all remember Yaz buckling when Bucky Dent hit the home run. He's just buckled. When Gilbert gave up, it was a great shot by Guy Lafleur. But
it was
the
he was on
epitome.
the game of the season, the
Yeah.
legacy, the dynasty was on the line, and he freaking hit the spot.
But-
And it's no wonder he's a beloved, the late great Guy Lafleur, beloved
Yeah.
forever in Montreal annals, and
But
as
the-
well he should be.
But we've seen tough losses by teams and players in every single sport. Guys, dropping down. Oh my God, I can't believe this hat to helmet, whatever it is. I think it's got to be the greatest performance, Gilles Gilbert, when that shot went in and he just, like, it's like a sniper hit him from the third deck and he just goes back.
There's so many still photos of Gilbert in various stages of falling backward.
Right,
Yeah.
it's one of the great sports losing poses of all time. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, it's the evil May 10th for Bruins fans.
Yeah.
The great May 10th was obviously Bobby Orr flying through the air on Mother's Day 1970. The evil May 10th was 9 years later in the Montreal Forum. Yeah, first time I ever went to the Montreal Forum, February 81, to see the Canadians play the Buffalo Sabres. I was on my honeymoon, and
Did you wear a suit,
and I walked
tie?
in,
Did you wear a
and they
tie?
had the I can't remember, but they had a big ticket lobby, and as you
Mm-hmm.
walk in the ticket lobby, there's this giant mural on the wall opposite facing the ticket lobby, and the Canadians had already won something like I don't know 21 championships by then.
Yep.
So, do you think the mural could be of any goal they scored that was a big goal in winning any of those? No,
I know
it
the
wasn't even
picture.
from the final. It was Yvonne Lambert's overtime winner to Game 7 of the 1979 Stanley Cup semifinal against the Boston Bruins, at which moment I broke out in this giant smile because for the first time in my life, I knew that we were as important to them as they were to us.
Absolutely. And it's just man. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've only been to the Forum twice, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Unbelievable. I'm being serious. Back then, people at the Forum, a lot of the gentlemen, especially Hockey Night in Canada night, you'd wear not full suits, but a lot of jacket and ties in the stands for a lot of, and I mean fans of all ages.
Oh, and that was true in all ranks until probably the 70s. You really kind of had a lot of fedoras.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a theater, to be sure. The life. I mean, my first Bruins game ever, January 25th, 1968. Trudging through brown snow on the sidewalks of Causeway Street, parked in some sardine parking lot at a gas station on Commercial, which is the extension of Causeway as it goes into the north end, past the Staridi rink, and it was like a Batman movie with all the buildings connected by tunnels and little walkways and pipes and this and then the obviously the dripping from the subway tracks above. They call it subway, but it was the L because it was elevated at that point, and it comes out of the ground at Haymarket and would wrap around Boston Garden and North Station, and then you go up those ramps.
Yep.
And finally, there's in this library quiet during the game. We're late. The Collagios were always late, and we got there, and my father says, "Well, let's see what this is." And he opens up what looks like a janitor's closet, and it's like, "Oh my God,
unbelievable!
This is hanging right there like a spaceship in the middle. Is smoke in the sky, and I'm looking up at the floodlights, and I see faces in the balcony, and I look down at the rink, which looks so small, and Phil Esposito's coming right at me down the half wall. He's being pinched off, and he slides a feeble pass in front of Rogie Vachon, a maskless Rogie Vachon, as Ken Hodge crashes the net, and the whole place goes, oh! And I completely lost my mind. It changed my life. I have never gotten over it.
That's awesome. Yeah, my first game I was 12, was like 79 too. But I do remember my claim to fame in Boston Bruins history. Of course, who could forget? And you can check it out. Robin Yount is on the cover, 1982 edition of Sports Illustrated. preseason game. I'm in the front row at the Providence Civic Center, Bruins exhibition game against those aforementioned Montreal Canadiens. Gord Kluzak was the number 1 overall pick. And there I am in the front row like this with my buddy Matt next to me. My dad, he really couldn't see. And Gord is right to my left, this side, to my left. And Sports Illustrated snapped a picture of me and my buddy Matt, full face, but like this, right in back of the net. That's Robin.
That was a great year for Yount and the Milwaukee Brewers, who went 7. Didn't they win game 1 like 10-0 over the Cardinals on the road?
They beat California, the California Angels. Then they were up 2 games. California was up 2-0 and blew it. And then Milwaukee won 3-2 in the best of 5.
Oh, that's awesome, Pete. I have to see that someday.
Yeah, I have it somewhere in some box.
Somewhere.
The 1982, Robin Yount is on the cover, and around page 46.
I don't want to hear that the Silverfish got
it. Anyway, Mick, thanks so much. What do you got? Anything you want to plug? What do you got going on? What's up?
Well, I'm about to go on. Kevin Paul DuPont of the Boston Globe is joining myself and Joe Haggerty on Pucks with Hags, which will go up later today on the interwebs, as we're going to record at 10:30 and talk about this the Bruins' upcoming draft night, which is Friday at TD Garden. It's no longer the decentralized NHL draft, and also tomorrow's presentation of the Bruins' new uniform, which is their old uniform, the Bork Neely era uniform.
The yellow B is coming back, right? The gold B?
The gold B inside the gold rim with the black spokes is coming back for the black sweater. And the pinstripes will be gone from the white sweaters, black B, black rim, gold spokes. The little pinstripes will be gone. Those pinstripes are having an important point in history.
Will they ever go back? They will never have the Pooh Bear uniforms again, right? The old yellow ones that they used to wear on weekends once in a while.
What they did do is they revived it as a white sweater with the Pooh Bear on it a couple of seasons ago as an alternate, and people liked it and bought it, and people wore it around. That's why they do these things, but they feel like it's finally time to appease the aging generation of the Bork Neely era sweater that's coming back. That's the thing, the gold shoulders at home and the black shoulders on the road. That's going to be gone. It's very similar to what the Bruins did in 1974 after losing to the Flyers. They came back out the next season with completely blank shoulders. And then the next year they did the Mass Bicentennial patches, and then they went to the angry shoulder band, lovingly referred to by today's generation as meth bear.
Yeah.
Electrified bear is what the Bruins officially called it. And to quote Harry Sinden, I hated that bear. So, but the big thing with the Bruins logo is that Harry, when the Fleet Center opened, now known as TD Garden, in 1995, he wanted one logo. The Blackhawks had one logo. The Canadiens had one logo, whether it was on the red sweater or the white sweater. He wanted one logo, and that introduced the one logo era. This is the first departure of the one logo era back to what had happened prior with the Spoke B. And so, and some people, it's funny, the younger generation so removed from the history of how this has flip-flopped over the years of just thinking that, why not just use the old one? I'm not going to lie, the old one's better. I'm thinking like, because it's your generation, it's your seminal Bruins logo.
You may know the answer to this. All those great Mount St. Charles teams that beat a lot of my Hendricken teams back in the day, most of them in the championship until I graduated. Then my buddy Jim Kramer finally got up the schneid and coached them to several times. But there's another reason why I used to hate Mount. And I think you and I broadcast enough games with them and Hendricken, Tollgate, LaSalle, all great stuff that we were privileged to do. But the other reason why I hated Mount, which I used to say on the air all the time, is because they had the Montreal Canadiens uniforms that said the C, and just had instead it was Mount said the C with the red and the same fucking logo and the same red, blue, and white, the same exact thing the Canadiens had, which made me hate them even more. And I wonder, did Bill Belial, you think back in the day, the late great Bill Belial, And you
Was
think
he
Mount
secretly a Habs fan?
No,
Is that the
but
question?
do you think they went after the Montreal Canadiens colors and their logo because they were, that
I
was
don't
them.
go back far enough in mountain history to understand the germination of their
Yeah.
color scheme, which is very much reminded me of the Montreal Canadiens, although at times they look more like the Washington Capitals with a white shoulder. Or the first version I saw was in '87, I think, when Gar Snow was in net, and
Yeah.
both Keith Carneys are on defense. When they
Yep.
beat Hendricken in the final, they had David
Yeah.
Emma on the team, and they just had Mount. I think it had Mount across the front, and they hadn't gone to the logo yet, or they hadn't gone back to it yet. So no, I think that's a fascinating study. I also noted at the time
How
that they
many
had
NHL
Rangers.
players? How many NHL
They
players
had,
were on the ice in that game? 10?
I know. I think.
Between
Yeah,
both
I know
teams.
it. It's great. It was first
Between
Rhode
both
Island high
teams.
school game I had ever seen. Not counting a JV trip to Burrillville when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they had Ranger style pants though. You know, so the
Yeah, they
Mountie
did. Yeah.
pants in that era of the
Well,
'80s, they had the Rangers stripes on their pants.
do you remember what Hendricken wore? Hendricken was the first team to wear the Cooperalls, high school team. They had the green Cooperalls.
Oh
And
wow!
Providence
Now
did
I
too.
didn't see. That's before I watched because they were back to hockey pants by
Yeah.
the time I saw them.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
either my senior year or I don't know. We had the Cooperalls.
But
At one point.
I mean, growing up with the Montreal Canadiens superiority in the NHL, it was fun to see Mount St. Charles embody that in their own context in Rhode Island. I just I loved
I
it.
used to say this to you all the time. Every game we did a lot of Hendrick and Mount St. Charles games back then on WKRI back in the day, and with our good friend John Parenti.
With a great John Parenti.
Great John Parenti, Hall of Famer John Parenti, and it was inevitable. I mean, it was like the it was like I couldn't the pain. It was painful enough witnessing it as a student, and then to do it as a broadcast, even though they were unbelievable games. But I used to say pregame to you, it's like, well, here we go. It's Bruins Canadians all over again. It's just Hendricken and Mount St. Charles, and it's
that's right.
Situation.
LaSalle finally butt into that a little later in the decade, but those were the big three schools at the time. And I mean, dial it back earlier and go back to the '60s and stuff. And Cranston had an awesome team.
Absolutely, yeah.
The Bennett brothers. So it's a very rich history of Rhode Island hockey. I mean, I watched in Meehan Auditorium from behind the net two times in the state final. One when Tollgate had Sarah DaCosta in net, and the Mounties were trying to run her every chance they got, and they were the better team and they won. But DaCosta she was incredible in that net, and she never wilted. She played unbelievable. The other time was when Brian Berard was only a freshman, and every player on Hendricken was trying to run him.
I know.
And they were just bouncing off of him. He was just shrugging him off like he was 27 years old. In the midst of his great NHL career. One of the greatest regret I have as a sports writer is the idiotic thing I wrote about the Bruins after the 02-03 season, in which I focused on the Bruins trying to make Brian Berard their number one defenseman after his horrific eye injury. It was so courageous of him to come back from that and to play again that I just still winced in shame at having written the way I did then. I just felt like my opinion was so damn important and really missed a window to celebrate a great comeback effort by a great athlete. I also saw him play baseball once.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he was a great baseball player too.
Yeah, Berard. He's a hell of a character in New England sports history and very much under-celebrated.
Hall of Famer, though.
Plenty of thanks to myself.
So. And then, to add, it was either 88. It was my first year in radio. I may not have even met you yet. Or maybe if we just did. And then, of course, Hendricken and Mount on the championship.
88-89 season is when we met each other.
And that was the triple overtime game that had to be canceled after David. That was the David Emmett, who's down here now. Hobie Baker Award winner at Boston College. Went to Hendricken, was a star player on that.
Hockey player retired in Florida?
Yeah, can you believe it?
Can't believe it.
Actually went to a Hendricken reunion about 4 years ago at his house. It was fantastic.
That's cool. Awesome.
He and his brother basically own Naples, a construction company. It's unbelievable.
Love it.
But he's, in fact, his wife, and she knows, I mean, his wife, Jackie, was just a lovely person. I know Jackie since I was, when I moved from Warwick to Narragansett at 12 years old, Jackie would stay over my house because we were good friends with my sister Andrea. So they would have girls, they can't tell you, several times. And I was like, so I had seen her in a long, long time. And I said, oh my God. I said, Dave, you married a girl who slept over my house. I can't tell you how many times with my sister. And there was no attraction. We were all good friends. I mean, she was
Your
just
family.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was great. Anyway, back there we go down. But that was, I don't remember that triple overtime high school game where they canceled it. They restarted it, I think, the next night or something like that. I can't remember. I just know Mount won again, and I was disappointed.
Of course they did. I had the rare opportunity to call a game between them and Tollgate at their arena in Warwick.
Yep.
In which Tollgate snapped a streak that went back to like the late '60s.
I remember my
Tollgate was a hell of a team that year. They had the Gaffneys.
My freshman year in '82, we tied them. And I think it was a 3-3 tie. And that was the first blemish in 88 games. So in the next game we all had at their arena, there was a big sheet some kids had made up. And our colors were green and gold. It was 87-0 and a big green and gold 1. It was like, that was like winning the Stanley Cup.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. The trends of hockey development in New England, back in that era, so-called junior hockey was not at all connected. It was in many cases not even credible. I know Joe Lyons, who was associated with the Bruins, was a pioneer in it, but there were a lot of promises made to families and teams. It didn't really galvanize until later. And then I know in the 1990s, the wheels kind of came off the Catholic conferences because, it's like, well, in the Publics in the 60s, by 1972, their best players were playing down at Mount St. Charles. Walpole High School was a really formidable team, hockey team, in the 60s. But the Catholics got the players in the 70s and into the 80s. And then in the 90s, it became prep schools. And the preps took away the players from the Catholics. And then the junior became credible. It became connected and it became credible and you could trust it. And junior hockey is now, go find me a D3 college team that doesn't have, 17 out of 20 players with junior hockey in the background.
And now Mount St. Charles doesn't even have a hockey team anymore.
Well, they had to sing with the choir and reboot as a full soup to nuts junior program, and they have national championships now in different age groups. As the great Mark Diver has celebrated. If you don't follow Mark Diver and you love amateur hockey, or if you follow the Bruins, because his work with the Providence Bruins on his Rinkside, Rhode Island blog is amazing. It's just he's a great follow. He used to be assistant sports editor of the Projo.
You got to go to your next podcast, right?
That's coming up in 1 hour.
Oh, 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour. So I was going to say
I can't spend the next 60 here, but
no. Just one more minute. It's just it's just a shame that high school hockey has, and around the country too, right? Great states like Minnesota, all the New England areas,
the state of hockey,
Michigan, Ohio. Great high school hockey, and it's not the same anymore. Right.
Well, Minnesota is probably the closest to it because they get like NHL attendance for their high school championships, which is tremendous. It's to New England, it's everybody has a million things to do.
But here's the thing, though. But Mick, back in the day, they should have had. I don't know if they were under some kind of contract with Brown University. I think then 3,000 seat arena, they could have easily sold out the Civic Center or come close back in those days with those two teams playing easily. Remember tickets, what they were going for, Brown? High school hockey championship ticket. I will never forget it. Like $300 from scalpers. A $5 or $10 ticket.
It was a legit sellout, and people wanted to get in that couldn't get in because the 3,000 seat arena could not fit them.
It couldn't fit
a great old circular rink.
You remember, you sat at Brown University at me and in the press box. I remember sitting there like, there's 20 guys behind me, and I didn't know any of them because they're all NHL scouts from all around because there were so many pros on the ice between both teams. It was great.
That's right. and later they would migrate to St. Sebastian's and Thayer Academy so
Yeah.
they could all watch Brian Boyle. You know, I mean, it's this is what I mean, the scouts they watch boy, I don't know, like 160 games a year.
Yep.
And if it's a Saturday, they see at least two.
Yep.
It's nuts.
Crazy.
How much hockey they watch, and their brains don't explode. But but yeah, it's a great culture. I miss the days of the American Hockey League being more prevalent in Eastern New England. You had Portland, Maine. You had Manchester with their great arena
Rhode
there.
Island Reds was the first professional hockey game I ever went to with my dad.
There you
They
go.
were,
There you go.
they were a Rangers affiliate, but everybody in Rhode Island loved them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, the Reds. Yeah, Marcel Paillet tended goal in Boston Garden, the first AHL game I ever saw when the Braves were a new team and they had Terry O'Reilly.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
they actually had the Braves, the Whalers, and the Bruins in Boston Garden during the 72, 73, and 73, 74. And
That's
the Celtics,
amazing.
sorry.
That's
The
amazing.
world champion Boston Celtics.
Yeah, where
in
it wasn't even half
1974.
full. It wasn't even, the arena wouldn't be half full even after they won it.
It was incredible. That was the Cowens era. Yeah, that was the Boston sports where they talk about '86 because the Patriots were in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and
that was nowhere near
Red
the
Sox.
epicenter of Boston. The last time the Bruins and the Celtics were in the championship round, 1974, and the Whalers were in Boston at the time, part Boston, part Hartford, and you had the Boston Braves, their farm team, still playing.
Was Gordie Howe on that Whalers team back then? No, was he still on?
No, he was actually on the Houston Aeros team that would win that championship with his sons, Mark and Marty, in 1974. The Houston Aeros.
Who ended up playing for the Hartford Whalers for a short time.
At the end, to revisit the NHL at age 52.
Ron
Correct.
Peckham doing play-by-play with Jerry Cheevers doing color, and I remember they're playing it's like, yep, Howe over to Howe, back to Howe. I mean, they're all three of them on the ice at the same time. That was special. I mean,
They also had Bobby. They had Bobby Hull too. If you really want to confuse it.
Yeah, that's right, man. Mick, you're the best. Thank you so much, and we're gonna keep talking every week because I want to, the draft. When's the draft?
Friday night and all day Saturday. Friday night's the first round. It's the decentralized draft being held by the NHL in Los Angeles. This is not what the NHL wanted. It's what the owners wanted. I think they wanted to save money on sending 50 people for 4 nights of hotels and airline tickets. They didn't want to take that hit anymore. I think that's what it was about. And I'm not sure all the teams felt like this, but
well, you were in Vegas last year. You were in Vegas last year. I remember. It was absolutely. You described it.
I had to see the Sphere.
Images. It was unbelievable. The pictures that you took.
It was an incredible thing. I had to see the Sphere. I'd never been to Vegas. I don't know if I'll ever go back, but it was amazing. Well worth the trip. It was fun to catch it all and see the place is like one big theme park now. Families actually go.
I know.
We exit the New York, and me and Dupes to go get an Uber, and suddenly I hear kids screaming from over my shoulder. It's a roller coaster going right past us and around the building. Like what the hell? Crazy, crazy world.
All right, Mick, you're the best. Tell Hags I said hello, and now I got to get him on too. I mean, keep saying that. Yeah, let's plan on.
Keep saying it, but we'll do it. It'll happen.
Let's plan on next Tuesday at this time if he's not too busy.
He'll probably be, we'll be between the draft. We'll be recapping the draft and also getting geared up for free agency. So I don't know. I can't speak for him, but that's going to be a heavy time for people who write hockey.
Even if it's 10 minutes or so, whatever, just a few minutes.
I will put that bug back in his ear.
All righty. Mick, you're the best. I'm going to go close this out with Duran running to third base from second and a ground ball hit to shortstop. We would have got benched in Little League if we did that. I'm telling you right now. I would have got benched in Little League if I ever did that. But I would not be dumb enough
They've
to
thrown away the book, Pete, and ripped it up.
They did. Not in a good way either. All right, Mick. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care, Pete.
Thanks a lot. Mick Colaggio, Rink Rap MC. Check out all his stuff here on the Pete Sheppard Show. All right, that is just about going to do it for us. Great stuff today. Thank you, Jay Flannelly, for joining us earlier. And in case you missed it, we'll close it out with the play-by-play of the What happened to the Red Sox last night as they ran? Let me get you. Where does it say thank you? Oh, there it is. We'll close it out here with the Pete Sheppard Show. Thanks, everybody. I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m. I know Bill Sparrows is going to join me. I think Mike Petralia, he doesn't know it yet. He'll be joining me from Cincinnati, and maybe another guest or two, maybe John Meter-Perel as well. We'll figure it all out. Have a great and safe rest of your Tuesday, everybody. I'm back at 7 a.m. tomorrow on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network. See ya.
I don't know where he'd be going with this.
Yeah, he looks like he's not getting any satisfaction. He's been thrown out of the game. Second game in a row for the Red Sox manager. He has been tossed out.